Hello. Good morning. Making sure that everyone can see me and hear me and stuff and things. Hi. Uh, how is everyone this morning? How are we doing? Thank you so much for that follow, Silver Tree. Hi. Welcome. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Hey,
Good
Jay.
morning, Kat. Good morning, Lauren.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning,
Hello,
everybody.
Kiwi the Pirate.
Hey, Akiri. Hi. So,
Hey. Yeah.
we're getting started.
We're getting. Well, I guess we could. You know what? We can like shoot the shit with chat for a little bit and then dive right in. Woke up early enough.
I am proud of you. As someone who also woke up early enough, I am proud of you.
What do you mean I didn't hit snooze and then roll out of bed and put on the first available shirt I found?
I
I'm
don't
not.
know.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I woke up with a hangover again, but I got coffee in time to wipe out the hangover, so we're good today.
No, I think. Yeah.
There are functional.
Good.
There are functional definitions
We're
of good.
functional.
You're better than last week. And I can,
Oh my
I can tell the difference. The drunk game
That's how
daddy.
that's how we're getting to know each other. You can tell when it's a he's gone versus
Oh
he'll
no.
probably like slam his head into the table, but he'll be good.
It'll be fine.
It's good. I'm
Boy.
actually really glad Kiwi's here. Kiwi's one of the people that I like stalk on Twitter.
Hey, wait.
All right. Well, there we
Preferred
go.
game poppy though.
Now we know that thing. Hold on.
Sure.
Okay.
Went to the bank in my Yeti pajama pants and the tank too. Nice, nice. I respect that.
Hey, represent the Yeti. Never mind my job logo though, because fuck that place.
Oof. Oof.
That's why I have a mug with a dinosaur on it.
Nice. Y'all have fancy mugs, and I just have a I don't like condensation mug.
Mm-hmm. Mine's
So
from the Dinosaur Museum that's like an hour and a half outside the city.
It's my thirst trap mug.
Oh, it is actually. It's a mug that you used for the video.
It is.
speaking of thirst traps, that's a great segue.
Oh god. First,
Is
we
it?
should welcome our guest. I think.
Yeah, that I mean, nobody. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know I love you, John.
Leave me alone. It's fine. No, it's great. We're good.
Oh my god, I got
Welcome
croissant
to the
in my
show,
beard.
John.
Hello. Welcome.
So yeah, look, tell us about some of the projects you're involved in. Let's get to know you.
Sure. Well, I'm an Olympic tier crier.
Mood.
That's an event.
So actually, all right. Well, hi. I'm John. I'm Ryomasa on the Twitters. RY0MASA. I used to do a lot of stuff at the tabletop streaming scene. I've actually kind of pulled back on that recently, just to kind of as I moved really recently, and I'm starting to work on like podcasts and projects and stuff there. So we're trying to I'm really trying to sort of pick my projects nowadays, especially with the state of the world and the state of my own mental health. You know, I'm really trying to tamp down on my like just never saying no to people. But Nor and I were just recently on a show called Entanglement, which was an Expanse RPG campaign on Unmade Gaming. That show is on hiatus currently, but we've got plans to bring it back, and we're super excited because it was 2 episodes and it was already a dumpster fire. It was great. But other than that, I hang out a little bit on the Asians Represent channel on their server. I've done one of the League of Legends review episodes for them, as well as one of the Oriental Adventures episodes. And then I'm working on a podcast coming up. And then in the meantime, I burn all of my free time playing Final Fantasy XIV online. So other than that,
can I tell the people one of the things I think is the coolest that you did or that you do?
No. Oh yeah, sure. I'm gonna go hide under a desk.
So my man here wrote a thesis about using TTRPG for therapy. Is that about right?
Yeah, no, that's a thing I did. That's for sure. I try not to remember that occasionally. But no, I was the last couple of years I've been in a grad school program for drama therapy, which is an aspect of performing arts and creative arts therapies. My master's thesis was on therapeutic use of tabletop role-playing games through the lens of that particular approach to clinical mental health.
So yeah, we're gonna have some questions about that because that sounds cool as fuck. Like I know it's not walking into your therapist, office and like seeing dice and maps with your therapist like, let's go. But,
I mean, it could be. That's the thing, right? Like it absolutely can.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get to that, but yeah, it can absolutely be that.
My therapy right now is just a whole lot of crying and yelling about my dad.
I mean, that to be fair, that can also be therapy. We can get to that. There's some really the really cool kind of thing about it. Really, is that when you boil it down to it, there are a lot of things that are therapeutic, and the only thing that makes it actual therapy is essentially having somebody who is actually trained to like walk you through that. Other than that, there's a lot of things you can do that are therapeutic on your own, and the idea mostly that you'll find for a lot of us is like, we would ideally love it if you never came back. If you were like solved all your problems and went out into the world and never came back, that's a win personally. But like the likelihood of all of our problems spontaneously vanishing into ether is relatively little. So at that point, it's a little bit more like a regular doctor's appointment. You kind of keep you're maintaining your mental health the same way you maintain your physical health. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we are gonna dive into that.
Yeah, totally.
But first, because we are base creatures, and because I had such a sick ass segue before, I'm going to hark back to it.
All right, back to Thirst Trap. Let's go.
Thirst Traps, let's go! What the fuck, TTRPG community, you sexy motherfuckers.
Hi, I'm just gonna go hide under the desk now too.
Oh no!
Oh no! Everybody at this motherfucker got played into it. You get your ass back up there. What the fuck happened?
I don't know. I made a stupid joke and like 2,000 people liked it, and I went, "What
the hell?"
Yeah, no. So like, for those of you who don't know, if you were scrolling through Thirst Trap TRPGs and you saw a picture of a guy with a mug under a small game trap made out of a cardboard box and a wooden block, that was me. I saw the Thirst Trap hashtag going. I was like, got up, picked up my mug of water, ran downstairs, and went, "Come here! I need help to take a stupid picture." I did. I posted it. It's hit I think 1,800 people have liked it since. Like,
I think I was one of them.
You perfectly represented the Ace community from what I understand in the comments.
Apparently, like most of the comments are like my friends going, "Tee-hee, funny," and the rest of them are like, "Yeah, no, that's the Ace experience right there." Yeah. I was like, fair enough. All right, cool. Yeah, that Kiwi, that was me. That was me after 10 minutes of being like, man, there's a lot of Thirst Trap here, and I don't take selfies of myself. What can I contribute? Shit posting. I can contribute shit posting. That's what I can do.
I'm telling you, that one got a belly laugh out of me for like 10 whole minutes. And then I commented something.
I think it's the eyes too, just the.
Somebody retweet. I don't some random anime account retweeted that, and the comment was just, "Man, his hairline makes him look like 2013 Markiplier." And my only response to that was, "Excuse you, 2013 Markiplier looked like 2010 me. Thank you very much." This is the exact way. This is pretty much the same way I've cut my hair for the last decade. Thank you. The only difference is what color it is at any given moment.
Everything just caught fire so fast.
So fast. Josh Simmons tweeted out a dumb green screenshot of him at 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning!
Paul picked it up and ran with it.
Paul Squall was like, woo! And we're all like, all right, fine. We're on this train. Let's go.
In all fairness, though, I don't care what your orientation is, you cannot ignore Tall Squall's abs. Dude, you just can't do it.
The man is hot.
The man is sexy.
God bless him. And also super great Ace and body positivity representation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Power to him.
and like fitness, like
fitness, gardening.
For the longest time, I was
cosplay.
Always in the D&D fitness. I even have a D&D fitness tank in the other room because like I got really hard into working out because Tall Squall and because of that entire hashtag.
The thing that I love about Tall Skull is like he understands the journey of, you know, body improvement, and no matter where you are in that journey,
and always so positive,
soft and caring and just open and just like he cosplays Captain America, and like to me, if Captain America was real, he would definitely be Tall Skull. Like just a good dude.
Yeah, Jamie's wearing his D&D fitness shirt today.
There we go.
Coincidentally.
But I gotta say, I did not expect that hashtag to do what it did as quickly as it did, and it did a lot of positive things. It was a challenge for some people, and one of the things that I'm very excited about is that there were a lot of voices in the community that was just like, hey, if this ain't for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
We love you anyway. Yeah.
You don't need to post a thirst trap selfie for us to love you. Like that's
exactly.
You know, it's not like give hot, receive affection, right? Like that's not you don't have to participate in that equation. Like I got 2,000 people worth of affection by posting a dumb picture of me with a box. Like you can, like whatever you want to contribute, even if it's just, hey, you know, liking people's posts and being like, I see you, it's great. You can participate in whatever way you want to, you know, because that's really the whole goal of it is we want people. I think, at least the way I see it, is if you're comfortable posting a thirst trap, like the thirst trap tag, go for it.
Charisma check
or charisma check if you want to do that one. If you want to, if you want to do like the classy one, do charisma check. That's fine. But like even that one is just like just post your best cosplays of you in your bard outfit. Who gives a like? We love to quote the phrase, we love to see it. It doesn't matter what it is.
It felt like a celebration.
Yeah.
Of this is gonna sound away. Just bear with me. It felt like a celebration of Horny and the many various ways that Horny can be achieved. Yeah. Like some people get off to sense of humor. Some people get off to like this kind of thing, to that kind of thing. Yeah. So like that's kind of what it felt like to me.
Like some people
felt very open, and I'm like, that's beautiful. But Jesus Christ.
It was a lot of horny on Maine.
It was a lot of horny on Maine. I did not post the picture that I was tempted to post. I did post. I felt like I posted really late in the day, but I still somehow got 46 likes out of it, which is a lot for me.
Hey, you know what?
I know.
You're about to get 47. Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
I have no chill. It's fine.
Yeah.
Gotta scroll and find it now, because I have no chill.
Just look in my media.
I am.
But I mean, it was.
Good morning, Sphinx. And thank you for that follow, Flying Circus.
Hey, Sphinx roll.
I think the other side of that, the thirst trap thing that I wanted to discuss, is that I made a lot of friends with a lot of people in this space, and so it was like it was a very weird experience. Going, oh, there's my boy. Oh my god!
Oh, there's my boy. They're hot.
Thank you for that follow, Kiwi.
I was sounding like Tim Allen all day.
What?
Because like I don't know about you guys, but like with me when I'm friends with somebody, like it's very strictly in the friends. Like okay, they're just I'm not even gonna like because the male gaze is something that is problematic, and I'm learning to get it under control because the more I learn about it, the more I'm just like, oh, ugh. Right?
Yeah.
No, truly, like you start watching movies and you see how the camera moves, and you're like, Oh,
it's like, or like my favorite example is anime, where you're just like, that angle doesn't need to exist. Why is that what we picked here? Like, what is that? All right, but
so,
like,
why do her boobs move around that bullet like that?
are we talking about fucking High School of the Dead now?
Yep.
Because that's, oh lordy, that's
my
not how
God.
that works. At
Someone
all.
actually
Physics.
took the physics of how those boobs moved, and they found out
It's
how
like-
fast they would have to move, and then
like the
figured out
gravity of a small
what
star.
what it would sound like when those boobs flapped. And it's like,
no. Oh, that's awful. Okay. Oh lordy.
I love this conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to unpack.
Physic breaking
y'all.
titties.
Physic breaking titties. Yeah, there we are. High School of the Dead has a lot to answer for.
anime has a lot to answer for.
Look, they introduced tentacle monsters.
Look, I have an anime crime
Just
division
throw 'em in the
shirt. Like, I
haze.
see you. I see you. Like, also, good. If you have not watched that, very good show.
Is it
by
anime
the
from the
way.
90s that had a jiggle counter on it?
No, it is basically it's ProZD and Riley Rose Crenshaw playing detectives in an anime town. So
Nice.
all of the all of the crimes are big anime tropes.
Oh yeah.
It's like it is simultaneously like, if you watch anime at all, you'll know all the jokes and you'll hate that you know all the jokes, because evidently the show's like, hey, you're a big weeb. And you're like, I know.
It's okay though.
It's fine. They're just like, no, it's okay. You're gonna enjoy it, and it's funny. And we know. It's very, and then it plays on and then the second season they go to primetime TV land or wherever it is. So you got all of the primetime American cop dramas.
Mm-hmm.
And about halfway through one of the shows, the line, God, because very clearly the tone around the two characters shifts, and they start to get weird, awkward sexual tension, and they're just like, man, I miss being asexual cops in an anime town, and then they run off together because then they split in directions, because the minute they moved genres, they had to change their dynamic to match the genre of the show, and it was just so bad. But it's very clearly seen through the lens of why can't they just solve crimes and not get into a relationship? What the fuck?
Lauren, I don't like anime and I'm okay with that. That's fair.
Fair.
Kiwi,
Fair,
IR Weeb.
Kiwi, IR Weeb.
My, my
see,
last
now we
name
know.
is literally Weeb.
Just one more
No,
piece, and I'm always on
W-I-E-B-E,
Twitter
but Weeb.
Oh, you're right. IR Weeb.
I am, yeah.
So I remember, and this is sidetracking a little bit. I remember the first time that we're still kind of on track.
We us sidetrack?
We have never been on any sort of rails with this show, it's fair.
I mean, we've been off the rails, and that's kind of a rail.
I mean, it's rail adjacent.
Yeah,
Adjacent.
rails are involved.
Hey, also, what, Cleric? You don't need to like anime. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's
People
an
like
entire
different
thing.
things.
Yeah. But the first time I discovered yaoi.
Oh no.
Here we go.
I'm out. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
You get your ass back in. So, for anybody that doesn't know, I am a huge Trigun fan.
I love Trigun.
All right, I see where this is going.
Yep.
And Nicholas Wolfwood is my favorite character because I love badass priests. That's my
Good
favorite trope. Wolfwood, Moroku, just if it's a badass priest, I'm probably all about it.
I love the way you picked Wolfwood and then put Moroku next to that. As,
Moroku is a badass priest, and I'll fight anybody that says otherwise.
He's a badass priest 50% of the time.
Look, he's also horny on main. And
he's horny on main.
At the time, that was my brand.
Oh, okay.
I've grown up since.
I get you. That's
Really?
fair.
Have you?
I'm not nearly as horny on main.
I'm horny on main occasionally now.
Your and D's comments on my thirst trap picture paint a different picture.
Crap! Time to run. Go, leave, run.
That was during the thirst trap era.
I got caught up in the day. Everyone was doing
era,
it.
The era. It was like 2.5 days.
Look, we don't talk about what we did back in those days.
We don't talk about
the world was different. Everywhere you looked, there were thirst traps. What did you expect us to do? I was very
Lauren
much
teaches sword fighting. From a historical perspective, and so over the top anime action sequences are just like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this.
That's super reasonable.
Yeah.
What do you mean somebody can't use a giant broadsword with one hand to shoot lasers out of it? That is that not how you actually fight with swords?
What do you mean my sword can't have rockets on the end that makes it go faster? What do you
mean I can't have a gun in my sword?
Actually, that one's realistic, thank you.
Oh, okay. But just to make the story real quick, so I was very much into Trigun. My girlfriend at the time went to an anime convention with me and snuck off and bought me a manga that was Trigun, and I started to read it, not realizing it wasn't the official one.
Oh, and you bought a doujin! Oh no! Oh no!
And I kept reading it, and I didn't realize it wasn't official, and it kept getting weirder. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. And Vash started talking to Wolf funny, and I'm like, what's happening?
Wait,
you bought.
Sorry, someone just popped into chat. I see the name Anders, and I'm thinking Anders D. And okay, it's
right.
not the Anders D that I know. That worried me for a second. Unless it was.
I think it is.
So
I don't
for
know.
About a year and a half.
I have a nephew that's named Anders.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
so for about a year and a half, I thought Vash and Wolfwood
were the hella gay.
Rip.
And so when I got back to watching the anime, none of it made sense to me because I was just like, when are these two gonna fuck?
Oh man.
Hi, Kitchen Bratlin. Welcome to the stream.
Oh lordy.
Welcome to Morning Ritual,
where we talk about yaoi and
well, all right, yeah.
We've summoned thirst traps.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
I mean, in all fairness, the scene was awesome. They were banging in the middle of a gunfight.
That seems like you have two different priorities going at that point, honestly. Like, you should probably stop one of those things.
If you're a badass, you do both at the same time.
No, then you're just an overachiever and multitasking at that point.
Woohoo!
Oh no. Oh lordy.
Pure, unadulterated chaos. That is the brand of Morning Ritual.
And this all started from the fucking hashtag. I don't know how we got here.
I think you is how we got here. You were like, hey, I've got this cool story. Yaoi.
Right.
That's what
I think it went Thirst Traps, anime, and then yaoi. Both guns ablazing. Sure. Both guns ablazing.
Lordy.
Lurk, because enjoy your lurk, Anders.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
Not the Anders that I know.
Oh my god. Oh, like I'm the only person that slipped and fell into some yaoi. Come
Bro,
on.
I work anime conventions.
Nothing surprises me at this point.
Yeah.
I was pure and innocent at the time. I had no idea that was even a thing.
Ooh, I'm so.
Nor is how we always get here.
So how All right, since we're going down this road,
yeah,
the way I found hentai. I worked anime conventions. I used to staff them, and basically, one of the things that we'll do at like late nights is one of the more popular events on anime cons is hentai overdubbing, where the audience will overdub hentai live and people will cycle in and out of characters. Just like we're all like, it's the 18 plus panels. Everyone's probably a little drunk somehow. And so I got put to staff that and to stand at the door and check the IDs for everybody. But after that, they were like, yeah, so once you've done that, you don't need to stand outside anymore. Just like switch you can hang out inside and just check at the door as people come in. Because there's going to be like a big flood of people going at that point. So my first exposure to it was the hentai overdubbing at Anime Boston. And I was just like, what? And then later on, one of my friends came by and was like, hey, why aren't you outside? I'm like, oh, they said I could hang out in here if I wanted to. And they're like, yeah, no, they just say that. You could totally have just hung out outside and not participated in this at all. And I went, that was my friend being an asshole. Got it.
How I found hentai. Wipes coffee off monitor. What are today's topics? So we usually chat TTRPGs. It's very freeform. Usually it's just stream of consciousness conversation. But we might be getting into a little bit more like TTRPGs as therapy. We talk about that guy that comes through every once in a while. I don't even remember how I found hentai. I think hentai found me.
You were the chosen one. Well, apparently, Kiwi in the chat is just like, no.
I went looking. Hey, you know what? Whatever.
I heard whispers in the wind, and I found it.
Whatever floats your boat, you know? Sorry, you're just like hentai found me, and I just pictured hentai just like reaching through the screen, like, look at me.
Like the ring style. The ring style, a tentacle comes through.
Like a tentacle comes through, pulls you in.
I didn't choose the hentai life. The hentai life chose me.
That's a shirt.
Can somebody get the hentai life tattoo like Fox?
Oh, God. One of my favorite things is there's a friend of mine runs a shirt company, and one of their best sellers is Senpai in the Streets hentai in the sheets.
Yeah.
And I hate that so much. I hate that shirt so much. I need 6.
Anime convinced my dad that I was gay for 3 months.
From the dojin?
No, because I had a yaoi paddle. Because at that same convention, I bought a yaoi paddle because I saw everybody had a yaoi paddle.
Oh,
and my dad looked up what yaoi was. And so we had a very awkward conversation 3 months after I bought
yaoi paddle. Did your dad explain to you what that was later, or like?
No, because I had known what it was.
Oh, you just bought it for a meme. Got it.
No, I didn't know what it was when I bought it.
But
and then you found out later.
when I read.
Notice me hentai.
The comic that I had.
Yeah, I'm also glad the panels got away. It was really like the dark days of anime convention security is trying to get people from running around yaoi paddling everybody in sight. It was like, please stop.
Yeah.
Just please keep the fucking paddle to yourself, please. Thank you.
Our local one used to be held at the university in town.
Yup.
Because it was run by the anime club at the university.
Yep.
So, like, you'd go into classrooms and you'd be watching weird ass anime at like 3 a.m. in like one of the lecture halls. And there was like cosplay battles. There was the yaoi paddles. I cosplayed as a character that didn't exist just so that I could like say that I was from a fake anime because no one else was as cool as me. Because, like, you obviously haven't heard of this one yet? What?
Oh, you cosplayed an anime hipster.
I did. I cosplayed as an anime hipster. It was great. What do you mean you haven't heard of Saga no Mochi?
Oh, lordy. Oh, my God. Now I want to see that anime.
Right? I was a weird elf girl. It was amazing.
So actually, here's a question. Did any of you do like the what's your anime name generator memes back in the day?
I'm pretty sure I could pull up my old live journal and I'll have all those quizzes.
Nice. Oh man, live journal. That's a throwback. So fun. There's a fun story about one of those. One of my friends, their birthdays, when they did on one of the meme generators, came out to the title of their like birthday anime generator was Mermaid Sushi Outlaw. And we went like they showed it to a bunch of us and we all went, the fuck does that mean? And then we made one. We sat down and made like a whole plot for this dumb anime. And it's basically like a whole bunch of us were like a bunch of us love like FMA and Trigun, like a bunch of like, you know, like I guess now technically they're classic because they're like 10 years old plus at this point. But when we did it, we decided it was like post-apocalyptic in the aesthetics of like Trigun and Nausicaa. And then what it was basically a mermaid who gave up her tail to gain artificial legs to go after the people who kidnapped her brother. And so you have like a cowboy, like artificial leg augmented mermaid stomping around places and just being mad at everybody. And we were like, that's a great fucking anime. I would watch that anime. And it's like one of those, and I was like, man, if I had money, I would make that anime in a fucking heartbeat, like immediately. I'd be like, hey, Ufotable, here's $1 bajillion. Make me my anime, please.
Okay, so
Twix Pie, we were all very cool in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the question.
Brittany, I know.
What is the most weeb thing you've ever purchased?
Oh, easy. I had a Prinny hat for years.
Earby.
Oh no.
I think I still have it in a box somewhere. But yeah, I had a Prinny hat.
All right, I'm about to admit my fucking shame here. You ready for this? This is a no game, no life Gibril wall scroll.
I am pretty sure I beat all of you, and I am ashamed.
Okay, I'm ready.
This.
I'm ready.
And I think we need to take a break immediately after I confess this so I can get away from my shame. Have any of you watched the anime Elven Lied? Or Elven Lied?
No, you're right the first time, yeah.
Okay, Lee, okay.
I think.
I'm pretty
German?
Sure I'm pretty sure
Preparing to clip. Thanks, Last HP Hero.
Yeah.
God damn it. Like,
Yeah.
they just made it that way.
Yeah. Well, you started it. You gotta finish.
I bought a new, when Lucy doesn't remember who she is. I bought a new body pillow.
I have a Slenderman body pillow somewhere.
I also
Sexy
have
Slenderman.
I have an
Disgusting.
Asuka from Evangelion plushie that has been signed by
Nice.
the voice actor.
Nice.
For some reason, it's a knockoff, so her hair is yellow, not orange, or not red. And so she actually signed it, "Why is my hair yellow? Why am I blonde?"
Oh no.
Jesus.
Oh, that's so good.
God. I'm just watching chat be like,
Body pillow, body pillow, body pillow.
Body pillow, you fucking nerd.
Yeah, no, like they definitely could be worse. No, somewhere actually funny.
I thought that was as bad as it gets because just like,
no, my most embarrassing anime purchase is all of the money I've spent on Fate Grand Order.
If we're talking about money sinks, I spent looking back on it, I spent way too much money on Gaia Online. Like, way too much money on Gaia Online.
That's fair. Oh man.
But I was rich!
Tarot cards, yeah. Cloudbuster sword and
Nice.
Sanzo cosplay.
Nice.
Okay,
I think everybody was expecting the body pillow answer.
Yeah.
What does that say about me?
No, that's just about weebs in general.
That's just a
Okay.
weird comment to generate.
I thought they looked at me and like, that motherfucker bought a body pillow.
You're like, I can see that. I can see that right now. He's got like 5.
He's got a collection. He's got a little body pillow harem going.
I'm teaching when I go to bed.
Oh,
So
boy.
let's be. If I'm going to be frank with like the best anime that I've ever watched, it's
Okay.
It's an ecchi anime called B Gotta HK. And it is fucking hilarious and so heartwarming and just so kind of wholesome for a girl that's like looking at her vagina and worried that that it looks weird.
All right. Well,
and then, like, there's one part where she's like fantasizing about being with a guy, and she's like, because she had the thing where she like looks in the mirror and she's like, does it look weird? And then like she has this fantasy where she's with a guy and he's just like, he opens up her legs and he's like, wow, that's weird looking. And it's just like, wow, mood. It's such a good anime. It's like her entire goal is to fuck as many guys as possible to have 1,000 partners in her first school year. But she has to find the perfect first time. She needs to find the perfect cherry boy, as she calls them.
wow.
And it's very like sex positive and very heartwarming, and like it's really good, and I highly recommend.
It's kind of impressive for it.
That's like the exact opposite of the anime that got me like really into anime during high school, which was Love Hina.
Love Hina's.
Love
Most
Hina,
of that condescending ass laugh.
No,
Loser.
I had one of my first online boyfriends, I guess, was really into Love Hina. Like, he was really into Love Hina, and he was really into SNK games.
Oh, that's a problem. That is a bad mixture.
Dude was a wild weed.
That is a bad mixture. I don't trust anybody that knows and loves Terry Bogard.
No.
He's big into what was her name, Athena, from those games, from the SNK games.
Yeah.
Like that's how I check to see if somebody's a douchebag. I just go bust a wolf, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "No, get away from me,
bust a wolf, yeah,
away.
piss off."
You get the fuck away from me.
Oh my word. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what my first anime was.
Oh, my first was Sailor Moon, I think.
And then it was like old Toonami Pokemon, I think, was when I first started. Oh no, and then like I knew like I went back, so it was like when Shokugeki no Soma dropped like the first time, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, oh no, of course this is an anime I'm gonna like. I was the kid who was like, people were like, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, and I was like, fighting Foodons, me, let's do that. Like that was my cartoon day, and it was
okay.
bad.
So
Jamie's is Escaflowne. That's a good choice. Escaflowne's fucking good.
That's a good one. The first anime I ever watched, I watched because my dad was not responsible.
All right.
So I was like 6 or 7, and he was like, I got this cartoon for you to watch. Go fucking watch it. Fuck off. And it was Ninja Scroll.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, wow.
This explains so much.
Wow.
A lot of the picture is coming into focus now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Damn.
So at the time, I didn't realize what I was watching. Was it a cartoon?
Yeah, it's like, here's Berserk. Don't do that. Don't get.
Oh no, the one immediately after Ninja Scroll was Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, okay. We're just piling on the heavy here. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost in the Shell is awesome.
Ghost in the Shell's great.
Okay, here's my my hot take, my anime hot take.
Anime hot take? Okay, go.
This is gonna get me in trouble.
Uh-huh.
Akira.
I mean, yeah.
It's not that good. It's really not.
My anime shame is that I haven't seen Akira, and it's like my best friend Kaylin. It's her favorite anime. Like she has all the manga in Japanese and in English, and she has like every DVD of it. Like she is obsessed with Akira, and I have never seen it.
My anime shame is the only anime I have watched is several episodes of Gundam is several episodes of Iron Blood Orphans. That was the first time I'd ever watched a Gundam.
You know, I feel like that we're being open and this is a safe place.
Okay.
So I've got another anime confession.
All right.
I have not watched a single Studio Ghibli film.
Oh, they're all on Netflix. You can fix that.
You gotta fix that, yeah.
I mean, I have no desire to.
Oh, okay.
They don't look interesting to me.
If I were you, I would watch Princess Mononoke because you would fucking love that movie.
Yes, you would. And then maybe Castle in the Sky. Those two are solid for me.
Those two are solid. I think you would really like, because okay, so I think the reason here is my take on probably why you don't think, because you might think that they might be a little kiddie, or they might be a little
they're like depressing.
They just seem I think I don't like them for the same reason I don't like Akira. It's just that it all seems pretentious. It's just like everybody's just like, you don't like Akira. It's a masterpiece. Fuck yourself. You haven't seen Studio Ghibli? Those are classics.
Oh no, it's a classic. Yeah, classic. It's classic anime. That guy. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, like all right, take it from someone who like doesn't subscribe to the classic anime are beautiful thing. Mononoke and Castle in the Sky are really good introductions to Ghibli because they are good action and also deep.
Okay.
Mononoke is very violent.
Extremely.
Oh, it is?
Extremely.
They all seem very kiddie to me.
No, Castle in the Sky has like explosions and airship battles. Like
there's a lot of blood in Mononoke. A lot of blood.
Mononoke is super, super violent.
Okay, well, I don't know why. I just felt like Disney
Disney doesn't know how to market a Ghibli film.
No.
But
there's a reason Neil Gaiman wrote the translation for Mononoke.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, some of the best dubbing in the business happens in the Ghibli films. But yeah, no, like Princess Mononoke is about like man's relationship with nature and the encroaching like drive of capitalism and the industrial age. Like, it's very good.
Okay, you know what? I will give it a try.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
See, give it a shot and
because
get back to
I trust y'all. You know, y'all haven't let me down.
Yeah, Kiki is just freelance feelings.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Kiki is just turning your side hustle into a business and then like burning out hard. That's all Kiki is.
Yep. Yeah.
Kiki's
delivery service.
Kiki's delivery service.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot. Howl's Moving Castle is just like
Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah, if you want to fucking cry.
Yep. If you want to be sad,
never be happy again.
Yep. No, like a lot of the Ghibli movies are just like depression! Exclamation point.
Really? Okay, I thought it was the exact opposite.
No, like it's not. Like Disney marketed it like kiddie films because Disney doesn't know how to market anime at all. But it like this is very clearly stuff made because like so the Mononoke films came over right in the period where anime was looked at as like, oh, it's cartoons, they're for children. That's how cartoons work. Mononoke is like post-war Japan pop culture.
Oh, okay.
Just like a bunch of people who like made it through World War II building like writing anime about how war sucks.
Yeah.
Like for the most part. It's like I'm like how to like come to terms with like the way you live and where you live and how to balance out your life and stuff.
Yeah, or how the Industrial Revolution has decided to just completely ravage nature and nature will eventually fight back.
Yep.
Yeah, Mononoke is the only Ghibli film that Jamie's seen. Didn't even know it was a Ghibli film until recently.
Yeah, you wouldn't like if you came in if like you didn't know it was a Ghibli film, and then you watched it. It's just like it's just an adult. It's like it's not as like ultra violent as things like Ninja Scroll and Berserk, but it's up there in terms of like how dark it is for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Castle in the Sky is like a story about like ancient powers and the pursuit of like, you know, like and like the pursuit and like standing up to fascist dictatorships basically. Like it's very good.
Okay, you know what? I respect that. I'm gonna give those a go.
Spirited Away because Dragon. Yeah, Haku's so
Spirited Away because Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, Spirited Away is a story, about again, environmentalism, and like the avarice that comes with like capitalism and consuming things. Like literally, there is a character that eats everything, and then you realize,
And then if you feed them more, they just turn into an angry, I will eat everything blob. It's great.
Yeah.
See, the more we're talking about it, the more like I feel vindicated in why I didn't watch it in the first place, because they're like, you know, here are all the deep topics and subjects that these films touch on, and I'm like, Dragon Ball Z, one motherfucker gets swole, hit another motherfucker, then the motherfucker gets swole, then hits that motherfucker, then another motherfucker gets swole.
Except they don't, because it takes several episodes for them to hit anybody.
Yeah.
More.
You know what? We're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. Let's see what you're not gonna do.
I'll fight you on this Wii battle. Let's go.
You're not gonna insult my culture.
We'll have to do this over several episodes of Morning Ritual.
Black people took Dragon Ball Z. It's ours now. And you're not gonna insult.
It's gonna
my
take
people. Like
it's gonna take several episodes of Morning Ritual for more to get up the gumption to actually do anything about this. So.
hashtag Saiyans are black.
Thank you so much for that follow, Anders DK.
I don't care what nobody says. Saiyans are black, and we took Dragon Ball Z, and it's ours now.
Look, go for it. I'll watch a show in an anime where things happen in the episodes.
You know what? I'll fucking fight the shit out of you.
I mean, look, cool. Well, let's go beyond Plus Ultra. Let's go. Speaking of things happen, My Hero Academia is solid.
Hashtag we taking that too.
The problem and the reason why Dragon Ball Z is repetitive and the reason why it takes 12 episodes for them to do anything was because they're trying to fucking catch up to the manga. Because the manga was being produced at a rate that was slower than the TV production, and eventually they caught up and they were just like, oh shit, we need to wait for this
also, like,
story.
Toei historically.
Am I gonna have to fight Kiwi now too? I gotta fight chat. I gotta fight everybody.
Every time.
Toei doesn't know how to pace a show. Like they did the same thing with One Piece.
That's why it's like
fuck is One Piece still going?
Yo, the author was like, yeah, there's another 5 or 6 years left. We were like, how? Like, what do you have left to do?
Don't that motherfucker just gotta find a fruit? Can this motherfucker not find the Aldi's? Like, what the shit is going on?
New One Piece goal: collect all the fruits. Clearly, that's the goal of the end of the show.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never watched a single episode.
Yeah,
of
that's
One Piece.
super reasonable. I read the manga up to a point and was like, why am I doing this again? But I'm gonna go reread Bleach up until it stopped being good.
Yo, that's a whole nother topic, which is like there was one black person on Bleach. One.
You right.
And they just phased him out. The motherfucker had the coldest power of all time.
Yeah.
And then they just forgot about it.
I mean, yeah, it was like...
You know how much that hurt? You know how many hours of research I looked into latex so I could make that arm, so I could cosplay this motherfucker, and then they just...
And then they pitted him against Zaraki, and you're like, oh well, he loses that evidently. Like there's nothing you can't put him up against the dude that wins every fight. Like you can't do it.
And look, if we go talk about poorly paced trash anime, how dare you motherfuckers talk about Dragon Ball Z and not pull in Inuyasha with its trash ass?
Oh, that's because I don't like Inuyasha. That was my other
Inuyasha
I don't
is
like
garbage.
Inuyasha. Oh yeah, no, it's garbaggio. It's great.
And now they're trying to bring it back, and I don't know why.
Because people really like Inuyasha.
Why though?
I don't know. Nostalgia?
God damn, I hated that anime.
Same reason they're finally getting around to finishing Bleach's arc, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna watch that for the old time's sake, but that's about it, really.
Just gonna catch up on chat real quick here. Preferred the other method to catching up on manga, filler episodes. Let's go to the beach, go bowling, go to the bathhouse.
Yeah, onsen OVAs are real. If you run a tabletop RPG, onsen OVAs are a really good way to have your characters get some breaks. Just saying.
Can't keep up with anime for the
triple digit. Yep.
Yeah.
Detective fucking Conan.
Wait, seriously? That's still going?
Yeah.
Is that?
I don't know how it's
little kid.
Yeah, I don't know how it's still going. It's still going. I don't get it.
Remember watching the first season of Naruto? 12 hours and they got nothing done.
Yep.
That's about right.
Look, I'll tell you another thing. Another thing we're not gonna do is we not gonna talk shit about Naruto, not in my presence, because that's blacked out. We took it. Can I just say I love black weeds so much? Because, look, let's get really down to it. Cultural appropriation is bad, but there's nobody better at it than black weeds. I'm sorry, I've never seen a group of people be like, "Give me this shit."
This shit ours now. And honestly, like, my favorite part about it too is like, I was talking about this with a friend. We were talking about like the mountain of like fandom around like certain properties, right? Where like a lot of fandom for a while, you know, the gatekeeping sections of it is like, if you don't know these things about it, that's like a problem. But like here's another anime question. I'm a Type Moon fanboy. All of the Fate anime, like Tsukihime, all of that shit, that was me as a kid. It's still me now. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But the Type Moon franchise is so fucking convoluted that we went through the gatekeeping phase and popped out the other end, where everyone is like, hey, I really want to get into this Fate thing, but I have no idea where to start. And we go, we don't either. It's great.
That's
Come
Kingdom
on
Hearts.
in.
That sounds like Dot Hack.
Yeah, it's like Dot Hack in Kingdom Hearts. It's like, what's happening? I don't know. Come along. We'll find out.
I don't know. Let's find out together.
Yo, do you know how, like, I was a huge Kingdom Hearts fan.
Whatever makes people happy. That's true, Kiwi.
Yeah,
I popped in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
So, the first time I ever played a Kingdom Hearts game, so my grandmother likes to do the gamble, and for a time she was living with me and my family, and so we would go to like Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun and shit. Now you can't have kids in the gambling section because they're not legally allowed there. So what those casinos do is they have like a kids playground thing where they like you can check your kids in and they get to run around and jump on jungle gyms and do stuff. My brother and I found that there was a bank of PlayStation 1s in the back that like nobody was using, and we went, oh cool. So we walked over there and we booted up the first PlayStation we ever started. Kingdom Hearts happened to be in that PlayStation. So like there we are through fucking whatever the first town thingy. I don't fucking remember what it is.
Traverstown.
Yeah, Traverstown. And it got to the point where, like, because my grandmother would go back there so often, my parents bought us a memory card so we could stick it in the PlayStation and then take it home with us so we could save our Kingdom Hearts file and keep playing it because we didn't have a PlayStation at home. We were a Nintendo family. So somewhere in my house, somewhere in the attic of my childhood home, is a PlayStation card in a little plastic case that specifically just has a as yet of unfinished Kingdom Hearts 1 file on it, which is hysterical to me.
Reminding me of memory cards brings me to the most painful memory I had.
Oh my god! What kind of segue is this?
Is this a game delete memory? Because it sounds like that's gotta hurt.
So Metal Gear Solid was a 2-disc game.
Flash. Thanks, Lydia.
And I had gotten to the point where it was time to switch discs. And the game very clearly says, save before you switch. I did not have a memory card. I had left my PlayStation on for weeks as I was making my way through Metal Gear.
Oh no.
So
press F in chat, folks.
So it gets to the point where I have to switch, and I'm telling my cousin, "Hey, could you pop open the PlayStation and put this to it?" Now, if you just pop it open and switch disc and close the PlayStation, it just fires right back up and you're good.
Turn the PlayStation off.
He reset it.
No!
He reset it, and I lost everything. Everything.
Oh man. Oh.
I think
Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear
soul.
Solid was the first game I ever beat because of that moment. I was just like, I have to. Oh no! I begged my mom, please give me a memory card. She's like, you got the game, you got the PlayStation, that's good enough. And I'm like, you don't understand.
Oh man!
I once erased my brother's like 30-hour, longer, like 70-hour, I think it was Kingdom Hearts save.
Oof.
But to be fair, I had more stuff in my save than he did, and he wasn't as mad as I thought he was going to be. So he just ended up using my save and beating the game, and I actually no, it was Final Fantasy X. He had like 70 hours in that game, and I accidentally saved over a save, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. He's like, no, it's okay. You've got more stuff than me anyways. I'm just gonna use your save and beat the game. I'm like, fuck, no, Tyson.
Final Fantasy X to this day is my favorite Final Fantasy, and I'll make no apologies for that.
Final Fantasy X is your favorite?
Yep.
Okay.
Orin is daddy. Midas sucks.
Yeah, Titus sucks.
I think you're rubbing against your microphone real quick. I think you're
No. One
Yeah.
second.
you're getting some crackle.
I think the first half of Final Fantasy 15 is one of my favorite things, because like Himbo Road Trip is a really good aesthetic. Or absolute morons in a car, like God bless.
Himbo Road Trip.
Himbo Road Trip's a really good game. Until it like has a plot in the second half and promptly falls apart. But like the opening section of that game is just drive around with your Himbo squad and take pictures and eat food with a campfire.
And occasionally
it's great.
fish.
And occasionally, no, not occasionally, all the time fishing.
All the time
Occasionally
fishing.
do quests. Like, yeah, it's very fun.
Not a huge Final Fantasy fan. So my favorite is, because I'm old weeb. It's gonna be 3 or 6.
Yeah, that's how we've hit the question mark Final Fantasy Weeb section, where you have to figure out what number you're talking about depending on where it was.
Actually, no, technically it's 5, which wasn't released in North America, because that one was, I played on emulator. I played a bad translation on emulator back in like the year of our Lord 1999-2000.
Bless.
Yeah.
Oh, Fire Emblem fan translations back in the day. Yup.
Or like you'd get like that one Chrono Trigger version that was actually like someone had taken all the dialogue and swapped it out with like real bad sex jokes, like that were obviously written by someone who had never had sex.
Yup.
So that was just my co-host disappeared.
Yeah,
so
more
that
just
was,
like got up and left.
Just left.
Right, cool.
That was a whole thing. Like, yeah, so you would get, when you would emulate games, you would occasionally have a person that would hack the ROM, and like you'd get really weird like mashup games if you found the right site. You'd find like strange fan translations that were almost right but not quite. And like it was a golden age of piracy in video games.
Yeah, it's like the same time, around the same time you got like, you know, the anime on YouTube in 3 parts cuts, like back in the day, where like they didn't bother translating what Keikaku meant, and that's where that joke comes from.
Yeah.
God.
The fan subs.
Fan subs, man. Oh.
Pro ZD. I always fuck up his name.
Yeah, you're right.
He does a perfect skit about the fan subs where it's just Naruto going hard as shit on Sasuke.
Yup, you right.
Yeah, I miss the days of pirating. Like,
miss the days. You can still do it. It's just a lot. I don't know if I want to say it's a lot more sketchy than it was before, because it was pretty sketchy before.
No, it's just messy.
We do not advocate piracy on this channel. Please do not pirate things. Okay,
yeah,
I think our asses are covered anyways.
No, the piracy, like, if talking about like the history of piracy, right? Because piracy was on YouTube, and that was way less sketchy because you could just find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, you got like weird translations, and occasionally you stumbled into a Russian dub for no reason, but like, you know, it was for the most part like you could just find all of your anime on YouTube in, you know, the 1 out of 3 parentheses cuts on someone's channel. And nowadays you've got to go to different sites for it. So like by nature of that, it's inherently more sketchy in that it's not in a single like place where you can just find everything.
Yeah,
true.
Or like back when there was like LimeWire or
Demonoid,
or where if you had about a 50-50 chance of getting like the anime or getting like
porn
or getting that was a whole thing.
Something completely different that made no sense.
Something that you can never unsee. Like I remember, this is the story I'm getting into, but
sweet old man in my chat saying that he played the original Final Fantasy back in the spring of 1991.
Wow, I wasn't alive back then. Nice.
Yeah. My spouse, he old.
LimeWire, Morpheus,
Napster. What was it? There was that like
TBP back in the day.
There was like or there was the crap. What were they
Pirate
called?
Bay? Yeah.
There were ones where it was like you would have to connect to someone's IP address. It was almost like a torrent, like pre-torrent. It was like a pre-torrent site. It was like an FTP server where you would like have someone's.
Yeah, you would like download it from their network.
From their network.
Yeah. I don't remember what
like
it was.
Mule or something like that. I want to think.
Yeah, I just gotta address chat real quick and say, Lydia, you
missed the accidental hentai
conversation. We actually were discussing how we all discovered hentai.
Yeah, you missed that section.
You did. You missed the first half of the show. First anime was not real anime, but the Spielberg anime inspired cartoon. I think we found Akira afterwards. You have a story?
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, Lydia.
What is it about hentai, man? Just trigger stories.
Everyone has a hentai story.
I mean, it's the same it's the same as the that guy story, right? Like everyone remembers the first time you had that story.
Here's the question that I challenge you motherfuckers to answer honestly. I want to see if you have the guts to answer honestly. What's your favorite hentai? Bible Black, let's go.
Can I say Boku no Pico ironically?
No, make that go away for the end of time.
Bible Black, let's get it.
Really? Bible Black? That's where we draw the line. All right, that's kind of tame.
Yeah.
The animation is dope.
I don't remember names.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't.
I was gonna say the Blue Girl.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't think of a favorite hentai. Like I think they're all just kind of grouped under hentai for me. Like I don't think there's just like a meh like over there.
I'm sorry, I just read Lydia's story.
Oh wow.
What?
German TV show used to have random anime episodes late at night, like 11 p.m. Sometimes it was Akira, sometimes it was Evangelion, and sometimes Record of Loris Wars. Then suddenly hardcore hentai out of nowhere. Pre-internet, it's not like you could check. And German TV, like, you can just be topless on German TV.
Yep. Same with French TV. This is how I found porn first when I went on a trip. I was insomniac and stayed up till way too late in the morning watching hotel TV because we were all booked up in hotel rooms during it was a people to people ambassadors trip. Just gonna throw that out there. And like they threw us up in hotel rooms and like Paris.
Night Nurses 2, that's a good one.
Night Nurses, all right, cool. Respect.
Least favorite.
Oh, I mean, so technically, I could say that one of my favorites is everything is like, they're not like my favorite, but the fact that Studio FOW exists makes me giggle, like at all. Which is like, I don't know how you've suddenly managed to make a Kickstarter that made a successful video game off of making 3D source filmmaker porn. But congratulations, I guess. Like, I guess that's a thing you can do in the world now, so go for it.
I mean, we really out here letting our freak flag fly, so...
It is their temper.
So, I have a rant that I need to go on.
Oh, okay.
I just need to finish Lydia's story real quick. I found that out by taping it on VHS and then watching it the next afternoon.
Oh, no!
And my mom around, who wouldn't bat an eye because Sailor Moon is big and all, and it was fine until it wasn't.
And then, oh no.
Your mom discovered hentai at the same time.
Simultaneously! Oh no!
Oh my god.
And yes, I would call it a kink starter. You're correct.
Nice. Are you gonna switch? Yep. Here we go.
Nice. The judgy camera.
Okay,
So,
so
the
there's
camera,
a rant that needs to happen here.
There's a rant that needs.
But
to
do we want to
happen.
take like a quick 5-minute break first?
Okay. I'm good. Are y'all? If y'all need it,
I'll take the rant then break. I think that.
Okay,
I think
rant
that seems
then
like a
break?
good flow. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right.
Let's go.
I'm tired of capitalism ruining everything that's beautiful in the world. Fackle used to be a beautiful site that a curious young man could go on and just discover the different fucking notions out there, but now there's a goddamn paywall. Like, I went back to Fackle a few days ago just out of curiosity, and now you gotta motherfucking pay for you gotta pay to even look. Like, Fackle used to be the home of the weeb fat, all right? And now you gotta find other places around the internet. What happened? Why did they sell out? Like, everybody's mad at bands that sell out. I'm mad at Doshin sites that sell out because this is some bullshit. They're like, and they'll show you just enough to be like, this is what this is your flavor.
Because people need money to live more.
Yeah, I'm sick of that shit. All right. This is some bullshit.
Socialism for free dojin. Socialism for free dojin.
If you elect me for president, I promise that all your kinky anime needs will be fulfilled for free.
We're creating dedicated servers. We're gonna put Faku on there. We're gonna put hentai on there. We're gonna put all of your shit, all your kinky stuff free. So at least when you're at home, and when next time we have a pandemic, we can just go, but we have porn. It's free.
What?
You can use it.
You know what? This is my platform. I'm officially running for president. We gonna take all the creeps out of Fat Life so it can be the beautiful and vibrant community that it once was. And you know what? We're gonna put porn back on Tumblr. That's right, baby. We're going all in. We're gonna make Faku free for everybody all over again. I'm so sick of this shit.
Hashtag porn for president.
In my America, there is no paywall for you to get your nut off.
Kiwi says probably because parents catch their kids reading the 18+ stuff, so the paywall's to protect them from the angry parents.
That's
Fuck
fair.
those parents.
That's fair, but also that's not gonna stop them.
No.
Nor if you don't run
doing
porn for president the minute you hit presidential election age, I am gonna call you out on the internet. I'm writing it down. I'm putting a note in my phone right now.
Socialism for free dojin.
Socialism for free dojin. That's porn for president.
Make that hashtag trend. Okay? I want you to go on your Twitters right now and put socialism for free dojin. Make it happen.
All right.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Nor, how old are you?
I'm old enough to run for president.
Okay, perfect. Well, then you better fucking run for president now. Now you have no excuse.
You know how hard it is to be a single, lonely motherfucker these days and keep your dollars? It's difficult.
We had an 18+ RP site had that issue a lot. Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
That's
well, first off, what's that site? And second off, it's the parents' fault. I'm so sick of parents ruining shit for single of age motherfuckers. You know who didn't have this problem?
Keep your kids off my porn so I can have my porn. Hashtag porn for president.
And Greece is where we got some of our best philosophy. So really,
oh Lord.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. On that note, I think we're gonna take like a quick 5-10 minute break.
Parents are ruining America and democracy.
We're gonna cut back and we're probably gonna maybe talk TTRPGs or maybe just talk more weeb shit. I'm here for it, either way.
Socrates wouldn't want to pay for Faku.
For fuck's sakes.
What?
We'll be back in about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I need to compose myself and reevaluate
Plato
all
wouldn't
my
stand for
priorities
this shit.
and reevaluate my life and some friendship choices that I've made. We'll talk to you. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Bye.
I know.
Hello.
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 Hello, hello.
We're all British now, eh? I don't know what that was.
Oh,
I'm
that was
terrible
like
accent.
British Australian.
Yeah, I think, what was the accent for the
Bit of Canadian in there
the
somewhere.
director?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, last night.
for the director, it was my shitty Irish.
I thought it was a shitty Irish accent, but like you were slipping a little bit into the Wakandan accent.
I told y'all that's what I do. I am not classically trained in anything except fuck it up.
I do
Fair.
bad British accents on occasion.
I do too. Yay!
Yay!
Accent buddies.
Yeah. Or like
It's very telling because I'm doing a lot of stuff with Encounter Roleplay, which has Charlie, who is like genuinely some kind of British. So I was just like, I never want to like do a bad British accent.
Yeah, I would do bad British accents and Scrat would call me out on it on stream. It's like, what do you mean when you say this? It sounds like you're saying
Don't you
this.
tell her I said that, Liddy.
Some kind of British. And I mean, well, and then there's Lydia, who's got like a strange mix of Austrian and Scottish. The Dorset, the
She's
South.
Dorset, the South. I knew that.
You could have just said Dorset, and I would have been like, yeah.
Nothing like doing a bad British accent with an all British group. Yeah, that has happened. For Rotting Shadows, it was Scrat Alex, who has a very mishmashed accent because, or Madame Gandalf, because she's lived in like Wales, lived in Ireland, lived in like everywhere in like the general UK area, and then also New Zealand. So she's got a really mixed up accent, and she spent some time in Portland.
Yep.
So she's got like a generic accent. And so I was like trying to do Finny, who has like a little bit of this sort of an accent. And, speaks very proper and has just a slight lilt, but not very much.
Yeah, that's much better than anything I could do.
And then, like, I would say something as Finny, and Scrat would be like, it sounded like you said butts, or like something like that. And it would just be like, well, no, I meant, I think it was duty was the word. Duty. We have a duty and an obligation.
Yeah.
So,
Hashtag booty obligation. Sorry, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Nice.
Done.
Booty obligation. We're back. We're back.
We back, y'all.
So I'd get called out on that occasionally. But we were talking about weeb shit before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Weeb shit, because all of us are at the very least closet weebs. Some of us are open weeb.
I'm literally wearing an Anime Crimes Division shirt. That we're all going to Anime Crimes Jail. That's where we're going
As
right
I
now.
said, last name literally weeb.
Yep.
So, John, you had a good segue from there, so that we can actually talk about something that was TTRPG related.
I did. So my question is, what if you had to pick like an anime to run a tabletop campaign in? What would you pick? Like, what would be your dream anime campaign nonsense? I'm gonna put a limiter on that, and I'm gonna say we're gonna throw out the isekai genre entirely because that's just a TTRPG campaign anyway for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cross isekai from the list. You can't pick an isekai.
Okay, so what's an isekai?
Okay, isekai is kind
Sword
of
Art Online more.
Sword Art Online,
Oh, okay.
or Dot Hack, or
Dot Hack, Log Horizon, like anything where you get transported to another world, it's usually fantasy.
main character generally either dies or goes unconscious and wakes up in a fantastical world.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So would that include
JoJo one shot?
Yeah, JoJo's definitely a one shot. It's not a campaign for sure.
would that include stuff like Bleach?
Bleach is more like supernatural action than it is isekai necessarily, because it's technically all still happening to the same person in the same place. Like, they're aware it can travel back and forth. That's usually not a staple of isekai.
This is the second talk show that I've been on where we actually talked to isekai. We did that over on Late ID Late last week too. We had Kent Weebs explain isekai to us.
Yep, that's
the only reason why I know what it is.
That sounds like Kent.
Yep.
One of the other players of my 2 mecha one shots. Yeah.
Okay. So I think I have the anime that I would want to do.
Okay.
I would want to do Elven Lied because the lore around that anime it's flush with opportunities.
Yeah.
There are these creatures called Dionysus, which are these women that are born with horns, and they have the ability to control something called vectors, which are these invisible hands that can cut through anything. The government is trying to round them up and control them because they inherently have a desire to kill humans because they're kind of like the next step of evolution. So it's kind of got a X-Men style, except that every mutant is this one kind of creature with this one kind of ability. And you've got mercenaries that go after them. Usually shit don't end well for them. You've got, the board that's controlling those mercenaries. And it's just, I feel like with a good enough group, you could tell some really compelling stories with that. Because one of the themes of the anime was, do Dionysus have the intent to kill all humans because that's what they're bred to do, or is it because humanity treats them like shit, and so you treat somebody with the power to fuck your shit up like shit enough and they're gonna do exactly that. So I would love to have a party kind of explore that, because
sorry, I just saw Wizard of Oz
is an isekai.
It
is.
You're right.
Though.
It is.
You're right.
It is.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yep. Makes me angry.
I hate it.
It's right though.
Dorothy didn't go Super Saiyan once. That could have saved so much time.
Dorothy did kind of go on a killing spree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vampire Hunter D, the second movie. Yu Yu Hakusho or the Gundam series.
Okay.
Black Clover or Black Lagoon.
You could run Gundam and Lancer real easy. Actually,
yeah.
I think about it. Yeah, for sure.
Shadow Skill.
I don't remember Shadow Skill. I don't remember what that was.
I haven't heard of that one either, actually. Though Alicia's got a good repertoire, also of weeb shit. She was playing Persona the other night, and
Persona would be good.
Persona would be good, actually.
I've never played a Persona game.
Ooh.
I caught the last half of 4.
They are. So, interesting fact.
All I know is that you shoot yourself in the head. That's
a chunk of the Persona games that have anime adaptations to them, they don't make any sense.
Well, the Persona games generally, as a rule, don't make sense.
Well, no, but the anime is very clearly designed for people who have played Persona. And so it's like, even if you watch it, you have no fucking clue what's happening. Gundam is Warhammer. No.
Wait, what?
That's where I'll go with that.
The Persona 3 has the shoot yourself in the head with the evoker gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's the only thing I know. I think that turned me off of Persona immediately. Like, wait, hold on. I'm supposed to shoot myself in the head? I'm all right.
Good. Yeah, thanks.
I'm all right. That's okay. I don't need whatever this is.
Yeah, no, that's only Persona 3. Persona 4 and 5 are different.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all kind of like essentially standalone games.
Be kind of HK,
Sure.
TTRPG. Yeah, I would like a wholesome slice of life TPRPG. Thank you very much. I think that might be a good one. Like if you do, like any of like the high school, like Oran Host Club.
Huh. Oran Host Club will be a funny RPG.
I'm so sick of hearing about that goddamn anime. I have no idea what it is, but everybody always brings it up all the time.
Mostly your sister always brings it up.
Yes, I'm so sick of it.
That's why you're sick of it, because it's your little sister.
Yep.
It's not just so. My little sister took control of my Twitter account and
Alicia,
made some
you
comments.
heard of Be Got a HK?
Wait, what?
Apparently, Alicia's heard of the ecchi anime that I absolutely adore and love.
Oh God. But yeah, my sister took control of my account one day and like made a post like, "I love Oran High School. I'm gonna do a show about it." And then people were just like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to watch that." And I'm like, "Wait, no, I'm not actually
doing that as a show."
And then like once I told everybody like, "No, my sister took my account," they were like, "Well, too fucking bad.
Now you got to make a show.
Do the show."
Like I can't.
I don't know anything about it. Then watch it and do the show. And I tried to watch one episode of it, and I'm pretty sure there's these siblings that are fucking like, and I'm like, I'm not about it. I can't.
I'm good, thanks. Actually,
I don't want to see twins get it on. Like, I don't understand why that is a thing that people in fandoms dig. Like, there are a bunch of people that dig on the Winchesters banging each other even though they're brothers. Like, come on, it's gross. Stop making incest cool. It's not cool. I'm gonna kink shame the fuck out of people who get into wincest, as they call it. It's not winning.
Wincest, because it's the Winchesters.
I hate that even worse.
Oh my God,
You just got that?
Yeah, I just got that. And one, I'm very upset at it for existing, and two, I'm mad at myself for not understanding that that's what it was referring to. I'm slow on the uptake for puns. Okay, I make no apologies about it.
Wincestial is the bane of my Tumblr existence.
Oh lordy, I'm out.
Yeah, tapping out of that one.
I'm out. Thanks. Okay, so I will note that there's a couple of things that I would run, but I'm going to talk about the reason why I didn't pick all of these first.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of shows that fall into like the harem bait category, like, and I hate them a lot because there's a lot of shows that have really fucking cool premises. So you've got like a regular Magic High School in every one of its 8,000 spinoffs, like, you know, Chivalry of a Failed Knight, Asterisk War, all those things that are just like overpowered person with a harem in a school for magic fighty nonsense. Dope. Rocket Knight Kishi no Cavalry, the Chivalry of a Fair Knight, has one of the coolest fucking art directions and art and fight styles in anime up until, like, you know, Ufotable hit the scene, and then with like Demon Slayer and all of their other Fate anime. And it's got a really cool setting, and then it just turns into like overpowered protagonist harem bait, and I hate that because it's got cool stuff going on. I don't need any of that. Get that out of here. Same thing with like, oh my god, it was something really recently about some assassin dude that's fighting a thing. And it had really cool world building where all of the worlds are like in tiny glass globes on like a big chandelier made of like world tree kind of thing. And that's how you could see them as you moved around because everything else is a giant wasteland. Cool stuff, but get out. Still, harem bait. What I want to run a campaign of right now, though, is I want to take City of Mist. I want to hack it to play Bungo Stray Dogs, which if you've never seen it, I'm going to do the same pitch that Sword and War did, where it's like the entire thing of Bungo Stray Dogs is it takes place in Yokohama, and it follows a group of characters called the Armed Detective Agency, and it's basically a bunch of freelancers who all got together and made their own their own problem solving agency. Every single character in the show is named after a famous author, and they all have superpowers based on their book titles. It's fucking neat. So like I don't know anything about Japanese literature, so like dope, all those things, all of those are cool. But one of my favorite things is like, so if you want to, for example, for a point of reference, if you know American lit and English lit at all, one of the characters is F. Scott Key Fitzgerald, the guy who wrote The Great Gatsby. His superpower is literally, I'm very rich, and my superpower gives me more superpower based on how much money I spend in any given moment. So he'll just like throw $500,000 out of the window and punch a man to the moon. Like, it's great.
I never knew I wanted, like, that is the superpower that I want to.
Yeah, it's the power of money, the superpower. It's great. Bungo Stray Dogs is super cool. Like, one of the characters, Atsushi is one of the main characters, is based on another author who wrote something called, it was essentially a Beast Beneath the Moonlight, is what sort of vaguely translates to, and it just turns him into a giant were-tiger. It's great. Like, and they, on all of the abilities, have no common premise because it's entirely based on whatever the name of their books were and like their life philosophies and their literature. And so you have literally powers from all over the goddamn place interacting together in this big clusterfuck of a world. It's great. And the reason I want to run a campaign in that universe specifically is because I want to be able to say, hey, let's take some literature that, you know, because like it focuses a lot on Japanese and sort of like West European American. Here's an idea. Let's take superpowers from other places. Let's take literature from places that aren't getting the spotlight for that. Let's look at that stuff.
Sure.
Because you can just because the great part is you can just pick any author you like and come up with cool names for them. So for example, like I was looking at Filipino authors for this. One of them is an author named Carlos P. Romulo, who wrote a book called I Walked with Heroes, which was about his time in the military. And so that for me, and like once I made that NPC has the ability to temporarily borrow the abilities from other people who agree to let him do that. And he basically can borrow anyone's ability for up to 5 minutes. And so it just basically means that he can have an entire suite of abilities constantly changing, but it has to be consensual that he can borrow it from you.
Yeah.
Shit.
Which is like, yeah, like you can come up with all sorts of weird, like meta breaking nonsense because the show doesn't care. And because of that, like City of Mist as a game doesn't care either.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like Peter from Heroes.
Yeah, where he can just be anyone or anything.
Yeah, it's like that. Except he doesn't keep them; he like gives them back at the end because because you know the walk ends. But yeah, it's super like you can come up with all sorts of cool stuff like that.
It's like I've been reading Gideon the Ninth, the Casmin Murashid's New Zealand author, and like necromancy. That's lesbian necromancers in space is the pitch for that book.
Yep.
And like, hey, look, you've got a necromancer character right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just. Well, the thing is because it's not, and the thing is too, you have to.
Rogue from X-Men, kinda.
Yeah, kind of rogue. My era is a really strong one for that too. But like you can change. The cool part is because you can like in the end, like that's what I like about shows like MHA and Bungo Stray Dogs, is that like because the powers are so diverse, it becomes way less of a contest of whose strength is what, and more how do you creatively use what you've got, which is always to me a way more fun aspect of combat than just smash numbers against each other until dead.
Yeah, Malkuth Soldier mentioned in chat that like if you want to run an anime as an RPG, he always goes off about Valorant as a system.
Valor. Yeah.
Yeah, Valor system.
Yeah.
I backed Valor back in the day. I know the author of Valor. They're dope. It's a neat system. It's very anime inspired. It's actually a little too limited for my personal style, but it's very good at recreating anime aesthetic. There's also another really good anime called Kamigakari, which is just an anime RPG straight up.
Nice.
You play people hunting divine spirits.
Oh, we got a flops.
Hello. Come on, flops.
You play people hunting sort of like wandering demons and gods, and you use those to turn them into currency. And you can use, but like because of the way it works is all of the different factions work with a certain way. So there's people who are like, we use katanas, cool. We use like magic, cool. We use digitally hacked cell phones that replicate magic. Wait, what? My ranged weapon is a motorcycle. What?
Huh?
Like it escalates so quickly.
It escalates real quick.
Yeah, they're figuring out how to integrate technology into like magic. Is
Sort
one,
of
is literally
Clark's
one factor
third law, where it's like any technological advancement that's sufficient
Yeah.
enough is indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly like that, except like with a dash of like Devil May Cry 5, where you're like, yeah, my melee weapon is a motorcycle.
Why not?
Which is so damn awesome.
Which is
I'm
awesome.
Sorry. It's so fucking
It's so
dope.
good. Yeah, it's so
fucking,
cool.
It's a motorcycle that splits in half and becomes a giant, like two giant
chainsaws.
like
chainsaws. It's great.
I favor the villainous. The lady gets sent.
Oh yeah,
to,
that one's very good.
Favorite Visnov, but never liked the dude option. Likes the villainous, so she's derailing this conniving villainous to being clearly into her.
Yep. Yeah, it's very good.
Nice.
Beaufry, if you like an MMORPG anime, is very wholesome. It's just like this girl who's like, the subtitle of it is, I don't want to get hurt, so I put all of my points in defense. She can't actually hurt people with attacks, so she basically just goes, I'm gonna use dots, and then I'm gonna stand there, and then nothing will hurt. And I will outlast you, because I have all of my points in vitality. Yeah, it's great.
It's the Homer Simpson in the boxing ring episode.
Pretty much.
Where he just like takes the punches and then just wears them down until they're out.
Yup. It's like that. Beaufry is very good.
Did we ever hear what anime you would make a TTRPG, Nina?
I don't know if we did get to... I actually said Oran Host Club. Or I said...
That's right.
Or like any wholesome slice of life anime, really. Would be...
That's
I
right.
think would be good. Like, just like, just maybe like a good pastoral fantasy.
What would be the objective in that? Like, what would be the win condition in that
the thing
TTRPG?
Is, you don't necessarily need a win condition in an RPG. You don't
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's
fair.
fair.
Tell cool stories. Make your host club make money.
I was just gonna see like who's the BBEG and or I don't know anything about the anime. That's
slice of lives don't really tend to have BBEGs. They mostly tend to have rivals that become friends inevitably.
Oh, okay.
Fruits Basket.
Yeah,
Solid.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a not graceful transition at all because I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna jump us right into it.
Sure.
I think now's the time that we should discuss that guy.
That guy.
Oh,
that
okay.
guy.
That
so for it.
Fucking guy.
So for any of you that are new to the Morning Ritual, we have a segment in our show where we discuss that guy. That guy is the person at your gaming table that is so preoccupied with winning the game that they don't really read the room of the table, or they are so occupied with looking cool that they trample over you, your character, and what you'd like to do at the table. Basically, if there's somebody that you've had one session with and you're like, I never want to play with that person again, you're dealing with a bad guy. So
we need to trademark that guy.
We really do. I am. This is not a joke. I've said it since episode 1. I am working on a book called The That Guy Bible: How to Identify and Nullify that guy at the table.
It's a that guy spotting guide.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that we give you the tools to spot when you're dealing with a that guy. Some of the tried and tested techniques of either opening discourse with that guy or the best methods to walk away
or to diffuse that guy.
Yeah, because the entire point of being at the TTRPG table is that you are having a good time, and if you are not having a good time and you can trace that back to one person at the table, then that's detrimental to your experience, and that does not allow you to experience the entire wealth of joy that you should be experiencing at the TTRPG table. So with that
guy,
let's start talking about that guy. So does anybody have a that guy story that they would like to tell, or do you want me to start with the that guy story?
I have a that guy. I have a couple of that guy examples. A friend told me a story the other day, and There were two examples, both in the same person.
Oof.
Oof.
The Bleed Through GM.
Oh, please elaborate.
The Bleed Through. The Bleed Through is the GM that sets up NPCs and sets up characters in such a way that the real lives of the people at the table get affected by the bleed that occurs within the game.
Yep.
It is pretty toxic, pretty harmful. It's the GM that will make a wish fulfillment, which leads to the second that guy, the wish fulfillment GM.
Oh,
a wish fulfillment for the player, not for the character, so that the character and the player both get invested.
Interesting.
Okay. Can you give us like just an abstract example of this in motion? Like, let's say you are this guy, and tell me what you would be doing. So that we can get
so at this table, I know that this player is very into this certain archetype of a character, and this character would probably play well against this NPC. So I'm going to create an NPC that is so perfect for this character that this character has no choice but to fall for them. And therefore, I fulfill my wish of being with this player.
Ugh.
Living vicariously.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. The
Okay.
way you phrase that, I was like, that just sounds like the way I GM, though.
No.
Now that you've specifically thrown that out, I'm like, okay, now I get where you're going.
So
Cool.
just to break it down.
All right.
Let's say I am creep DM. Anita is at my table, and I'm like, really wanna be creep at Anita, and I know that Anita likes himbos, so I make the perfect himbo and introduce it to Anita's character.
Himbo.
We're gonna need to make that a full song.
Now we go to limbo. I'm out. Peace, bye.
Bye.
So I make the perfect himbo and I introduce it to Anita's character, and I basically set the optimal way for them to meet and interact with each other. So it leaves you in a position where you can't really be in character and deny this.
It is not necessarily a forced romance. It is a manufactured romance.
Yeah.
To the point, but then the bleed through comes in where the player begins to start to feel so invested in this character and so invested in this romance and so invested in the time spent with the GM that it begins to affect their real life.
Yep.
Oh, that's gross. That's like entrapment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
This is the story that I was told.
Mm-mm.
And it's real bad.
Because I can see like, oh no, that's no. And one of the things to look out for with something like that is, I'd imagine, any outside of game interactions that are in character. Be on the lookout for that. I know as a DM, there are times where I would like to take a player one-on-one and just expand their character's story, but not a romance plot line. I feel like
No, that can happen at the table.
I feel like you need the security of your table for that kind of thing. Definitely be on the lookout for that. That is a very gross that guy.
That is not just a red flag. That is like a blazing on fire red flag.
That's manipulation, and I feel like that's a form of gaslighting almost. Like that's.
Yeah, and I mean, like the key part of it there too is to remember, like, if you're building someone, because if the player is like, I want my character to fall in love with somebody, this kind of person, and you're like, cool, I'm gonna do that. I'll build you a character for it. Cool, fine. Like, you're talking about it. If you are putting something in front of them with the express and purpose of getting them to fall in love with them, and thereby through them with you, and you're not talking about that, that's fucked up. Like that's fucked up.
You know what? And I have seen, now that we're like discussing that, I have seen this One of the things that I've noted with I'm not gonna say guys, but with the GMs like this is pay attention to how they pay attention to how they interact with everybody at the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
A good GM is going to try and make sure that everybody gets a spotlight. Everybody gets their shine. Everybody has an impact on the story. If you start to notice that a GM is leaning heavily, consistently on one player and one aspect of that player's storyline, and it happens to be the romance plot line, that is the problem. And you don't have to be the target of it to bring it up. That's the other thing that's very important.
Communicate with the other players at your table for sure.
Yeah, if you see something at the table, even if you aren't the target of it, you have a responsibility.
Sorry, you said if you see something, and my brain immediately finished with
Say something. Yeah, I was thinking it too.
I was like, crap. Fucking public transportation slogans. God.
That's why you play your characters as Ace Kiwi. Fair.
Yeah, no, seriously. So, and like, especially, and like, if you're a GM and you're running, sexy thembos, as like, my party is entirely like, we want more thembos, and we want to fuck. And I went, okay, cool, fine. It's not a thing I want to run. In general, like, it's not that I don't want to run it. I don't normally think about it. It's not something that I usually think about when I want to bring it to my game.
Yeah.
So like, your like carpet rule. Oh wow,
Lydia.
So like, hold on,
calling you out right there. Hold on.
So, do you want me to skip the badass war? You want me if you see with killing boots and vampire fetish unless it's deep magic? No, please bring that on.
Say, communicate with your players.
I want that.
Please step on with boots.
But like that's that right there, right? That's all you have to do. That's it. That's the bare minimum of work you do. Is, hey, I've got someone who you, the player, is gonna think is hot as balls. How do you want to handle this? And that's what I did. Like that's how you introduce characters. You go like, hey, just a heads up, like, all of you are gonna be like, you're not gonna like them, but you're probably gonna be attracted to all of them. And it helps when your players are like,
but are they hot?
Every time you introduce a new NPC. But but know the tone of the table you're at, right? There's a difference between doing that kind of thing with like 6 of your close friends in a game that isn't being run for an audience at home at your own table versus like dumping that on somebody at like a convention who you've met 30 seconds ago.
As a pretty good rule of thumb for me is, if you are the GM, there should be very few times where you are no longer the world and you are you. In those moments, you have to be very careful because you are everything. You are the grass, you are the wind, you are the insects, you are the people, you're the monsters, you're everything. Because you have that much power, you have to be very careful with how you use that and how you put yourself into that world. A lot of the time with GMs that are that guy, they put themselves and their desires first in the world, and they use it to control their players in a way that takes away their agency. And this particular that guy is very vicious in the sense that not only is it taking away agency in game, but it's then using that influence out of game and manipulating feelings out of game with the power that they have in game. It's so, not to get too deep into this, but I recently had the experience of playing a charmed character in a way that was brilliant. I had the GM warned me ahead of time, and it gave me time to prepare how I was going to play, losing my agency. And I really sat and thought about how charm works. And I think a lot of times we look at charm in a way where it's just like, I'm completely brain controlled. I don't know what I'm doing. But I think it's a lot more sinister than that. Yep. It's suppressing your own desires without being aware that it's being suppressed. And I think that's why the enchantment school of magic is so...
It's fucked
up. Because my character suffered something as small as not being able to cheer on their friend in a battle of the bards. Instead, they were cheering for the opponent.
Yep.
It wasn't in such a way where it's just like, fuck my friend. It's like, no, my friend is there and they're all right. But holy shit, this guy is amazing. Like, how could I not cheer for this guy instead? Like, I fully support my friend, but this is where it's at. Yeah. And like, I feel like on some level that is what that guy is doing in real life. Because the thing that matters, the thing that makes TTRPG magical is there have been instances where I have slayed a dragon and my heart is pumping and I'm sweating and I'm like my hands are shaking as if I'm there, because a good enough GM and a good enough game and a good enough table can make you feel these impossible things. And there have been times where I've had NPC relationships where I'm like, I feel for this NPC, or I feel for this romance. Like if they die, I feel that. I feel the loss. I feel the longing. And for somebody to use the magic of TTRPG where you can actually feel these impossible things to conjure up a feeling of attachment and love with me, the GM, that
I think I've discovered the worst that guy.
Yeah.
So there's this beautiful thing. Other segue we can sort of segue out of this and back into this conversation, but there's this wonderful thing in therapeutic tabletop RPGs called a code of fucking ethics.
Motherfucker.
The reason why we have these is because of that exact reason, right? Like there is a level of intimacy in sitting around a table with a bunch of people and really, the old joke of, is it really a TTRPG if you're not processing something in your game, right? Is like, it's a joke, but it's true, and a lot of people do that in a way that is, in ways that can be good and in ways that can be awful. If you run up into somebody who just is either callously unaware of what you're doing or actively trying to fuck with you. Because those are very, very bad things, because it is so easy to just, to derail something that is beautiful into something awful. It's the same lever. It's just the intent behind it.
I mean, luckily right now I'm blessed in that all my GMs are very conscious about that and very protective of the table.
Yep.
I've almost been sideswiped by how protective they've been, and I haven't really expected it. Like, for example, with the encounter that I was talking about with my characters being charmed during a battle of the bards, I thought it was kind of silly to be asked ahead of time, like, are you cool with being charmed? I'm like, that's part of the game, baby. Let's get it. Let's go. Like, sometimes charms happen. And then in the midst of it, I was like, oh, okay, this is why they asked.
Oh,
and
fuck, this hurts.
Yeah, this real. This my heart.
Yep.
But it's because I was braced for it, where it was just like, okay, that's fine. So, like, you really, I think you're right. You did find the worst that guy. Because, like,
I think we found a winner, if there was a winner.
Holy fucking shit. Like, it's making me realize just how much control
a GM has and a GM can take.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of mind blowing it's kind of mind blowing the agreement that we make when we sit at the table, and I don't think
it's an unspoken contract too most of the time.
Yep.
Right. Like that guy segment has always to me been about like how these motherfuckers are annoying, like how these motherfuckers are ruining my time.
Like fucking min-maxers, like
these motherfuckers whining and bitching, but like damage can be done at the table.
Yeah.
And this one is like the more I think about it, the more it's really kind of fucking me up on the inside, because I'm looking back on some of my time as a GM, and like there are moments where I know that I have my players. There are moments where I'm just like, I can crush you or I can build you up.
Yep.
And I see on their face where they're waiting to find out what I choose. Yep. Like it's really nuts. Like, just going back to a recent example, Anita, like we at the end of our Second City one shot, where you were all waiting to find out what the last two cards were. Like,
me and Lydia with the two cards.
I felt like y'all were putty. It was just like I could do whatever right now. And to think that somebody could work to achieve that just to go, I could probably get a date out of this. Like, it's just how dare you? Like,
it is a betrayal of trust.
Yeah, just think about like, right, the emotional state someone gets it, like, and we've all been there, or somebody who has. Think about the kind of game you sit down, everyone's aiming to have a good time, and everyone in your game is having a great time, except for that one person who's been rolling low all night. Right? Like, it's just think about it for like 2 and you'll realize it's a completely different experience for that person, just because like they are getting, they're getting stimulated at every turn. Like, everything they want to do that's cool, they want to join in and have fun, they can't, and it sucks.
Yeah, when your dice go cold.
Yeah, it sucks to be that person who is either simultaneously not getting to do the thing you want to do, or even worse, letting everyone down constantly when you need to make the rolls that count. And it's a horrible feeling. And that isn't your character. That is also your character failing, for sure. But if you're in the place where you want them to succeed and you're not really prepped for them to fail constantly, this is why I like Powered by the Apocalypse games, it sucks to be that person who's failing.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially in games where the win condition is hit number or fail.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a condition, and there's other systems like that where I like it, where if you do fail, there is a condition where it just makes the plot more interesting. Failure is where plot happens.
Yeah. Like there are games that do very well with saying, you rolled low, okay, cool, the thing you want happens, it's going to be complicated, buckle up.
Exactly.
And that's way more fun, because you learn how, like, there's a difference you'll learn, especially as a GM. Even when I've even before I knew about Powered by the Apocalypse or the Apocalypse World as a setting, all of my roles have been, this is what you hit, target number. Like, the math has always been behind the scenes for me, because that's just, the way you grow up. Like, when you DM, like, I DM'd a lot of D&D at the back in the day. You learn to do all of the mental math that you're changing behind the screen, so nobody talks about it, because that's the way the game is set up. The game is set up with you as like the arbitrary computer that's doing all the math behind it and not telling anybody what the numbers are. But for me, it was always, okay, they are going to succeed at what they want no matter what. The difference is whether or not they do it stealthily or there's a goblin patrol coming around the corner, right? Like, that's to me the difference between success and failure. And so all of my math was that. But you wouldn't know that if you just watched me play the game. You do just see like, oh, that was a DC that they fucked up. Cool. Oh, that was a low DC door. But it just so happens there were goblins there. Yeah. But what it does is it teaches people that your actions have consequences, not in ways that like you do them and then they fail and then you're a failure and then you die, which is boring and also not a message anybody ever really needs. But what you're telling to this is you can succeed at stuff, but if you're not paying attention to the world around you, it doesn't matter. because like you need to be aware of what you're doing in the context of where you're doing it and when, because that is what informs the decisions you make. And so like for me, I've always said the way I play games is, my worlds are alive. They'll move. Like if you sit in a tavern for 4 days, the plot will move on without you. And then you'll have to deal with whatever that means when the thing you didn't do happens. Yeah. And that's just because the world, it's not like a video game. The world isn't on pause while you're having a drink. Quests. Yeah. Right. Like the world will continue. And there's yeah.
And that's something that I'm a huge fan of.
Learned that from visual novels, baby.
Like I have been playing the same homebrew. Well, I'm no longer playing it, but I played the same homebrew world going close to 20 years, and so a lot of the deep lore that I had in that world were things that actually occurred, and so I've had players that I started playing in high school around 14. And, I played with them for a few years, and then we all had to go our separate ways. But then they would come back into town, and I would have a new group that was in the same world. And so I would just have the person that was coming back, pick up their character and, just kind of tell me, like, what has your character been doing, for this amount of time? And they would tell me, and then I would introduce that old character to my current party, and my current party had been studying this person, like just like with legend lore, like all the things that they've done, and just seeing people come back from like either like college or like being out in the military and coming back to like 5 or 6 players going, I've heard about you, like I heard you did this and that, and just to be able to see the sense of like pride it gave my friend that was gone for so long, and, and then just telling the story as a dude, like, okay, the legend has gotten out of hand.
Let me calm it down a little bit.
This is actually what happened. The dragon wasn't nearly as big as people say it was. Like just that kind of deal. Like moments like that really enforced in me that I would much rather have a world where everything matters, everything is triggered by something that was actually done, than just having a stagnant world. And so like what I'm doing now with a lot of the projects that I'm doing is just like everything that happens on screen happened somewhere else. There's always a consequence to any decision that has been ever made in any game that you played with me.
Nope, I didn't experience that at all last night.
I mean, exactly. Like one of Anita's characters dealt with a big bad and tricked them into pulling a card from the deck of many things. And they pulled the void card, and their soul is trapped in a gem. Another one of Anita's characters,
different character entirely,
found the gem, and in a desperate bid to get rid of another monster, cracked it open, asked the thing that was inside to help. They had the means to help, and now that big bad is out again. It's just like, I say all that to say this, I completely get having a living world. And I'm all about that.
I don't know. So I've realized really I don't really have that guy's stories anymore. I have I have dope moments and those wonderful people stories, because I play a lot of conventions, and so I just forget all the people who suck because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot that suck at cons.
But like, so I remember the people who I who really stuck on me as like, y'all, you're doing this right. But I'm so much. I want to tell that story. I want to tell my favorite moment story, which is my crowning moment as a GM that I will never get. I will never beat ever again.
All right, you mind if I interrupt you with one little bit of negativity before we go up to the positive?
Hit some negative.
All right, so here's my bad guy story.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
So I had the experience of dealing with somebody that switched to talk and jive essentially to the black folks at the table. And like, I just want to say, like, don't do that. I'll say that to say this: there are different levels of comfort that people can experience with that. Some people aren't bothered by it. Some people are very bothered by it. Just don't do that. Like, just talk the way you talk. That's it. And if you talk using a lot of African American vernacular and you are not African American, don't do that. That's not cool. Like, it's just a respect thing. You know, so just please be conscious of that. Hey, I saw Wibbity Wobbity every goddamn chance you get to ruin me. You take it, Alicia. But yeah, so that's my that guy story. Nowhere near the worst that guy that we've
found king of the that guy.
But yeah, I just want to call that out. Just be very conscious of the people at your table and the different cultures there are. It's great to have different cultures and different perspectives at the table, but that does require you to be much more mindful.
Do some homework and like ask people.
Right.
Like, hey, is it cool if I do this? And if the answer is no, and you're like, awesome, not doing it. End of story.
Better or worse than the dust-colored man?
The dust-colored man. Okay, so yeah, I need to tell you.
We have an eldritch being on our stream that came up in our episode with Latia.
Yeah, so for this is a different that guy.
Hey.
This is that guy that is so dreadfully, how do I put this? So dreadfully aware that there is a black person at the table that they panic,
overcompensate.
And overcompensate. Oh. So he was trying to explain that there was a black NPC. And so he's just like, and so you see this tall blue, and like looks at me. It's a dusk-colored man. I looked at him. He looked at me. The table went silent, and we were all trying to figure out what the fuck. What the fuck just happened?
What just happened? Also, what does that mean?
So, we turned him into an eldritch being, the dust-colored man, who is made of stars and older than time, but younger than the newest newborn baby. And
I love that. That's beautiful.
He is your warlock patron. He is your new deity. He is the dust-colored man, and he is always there, always present, just behind the camera. Just
now I'm thinking,
to the side.
He appears anytime there's awkward racial moments in TTRPG games.
What's his slogan? Twilight Falls! Anyway, sorry, I'm done.
So now on to some positivity.
Positivity, yes.
So my favorite... I ran a lot of convention games. My favorite thing is I will always be like, give me the new players. I want the new players. I want the level 1 people. I want the people who have never played this game before. Send them to me because I want to make them have a good time. And so we did. Like, I got a family of 7 at Gen Con in 2014. Parents had played before. Kids had never played a game in their lives, but their parents knew, and their parents had played, and they were like, we wanted our kids to come play at Gen Con. So we did. And we go around like the 7, like 2 parents, 5 siblings. And we go around and there's this one hot topic teenage dude who very clearly looks like he wants to do anything but this. But he's sitting there with his barbarian and like, I'm like, okay, I see. You have an expectation. I'm gonna rock your fucking world. So we start playing. It's a dumb level 1 quest. You go investigate a farm, something's happening, it's awful. You go check out the woods, and you come back, and there's an evil, angry, 2-headed demon goat that bursts out of the barn and tries to murder all the goats. So you fight the angry goats.
Oh, is that Herod at Hillsfar?
Yeah, Harry's. Yeah, exactly that one. Yeah,
I know that one.
Yeah, this is right. This is right when season 3 was starting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool, goats. So they beat the crap out of him. Like, Barbarian saves the day, like gets the killing blow, and like he kind of half-heartedly goes, "All right, cool. Like, so can I wear it as armor or something?" And like, ideal, like, really? No, you can't. There's no like, there were no rules for that. And I went, yeah. And he went, wait, what? I was like, for real? I'm like, yeah, totally. I don't see why not. You're a barbarian. You're wearing leather armor. You can just mount them on as pauldrons or something, I guess. And he was like, wait, I can have demon-headed goat dual pauldrons? And I was like,
sure.
Why not? So I got up, I was like, wait a minute. Got up from the table, went over to the admin desk, and I was like, I need a blank story reward, please. And they went, for what? And I'm like, don't ask me questions. Just give me a blank story reward. I'm about to make a player's day. Give me a blank story reward. Nothing about that. Nothing about this will matter. Because the way organized play works is you get your story, you get like reward tokens for all the things you get. Right. And they're usually so I said, so like we took insert, we like whited out all of the stuff that was actually on there. And then I just, in Sharpie, wrote demon goat pauldrons in like big letters, and then walked back to the table and slapped it down in front of him. I'm like, cool, this is the only one of that in existence. You win. Have a good day. So somewhere in America is some like probably grown out of it by now emo kid. Maybe not. I don't know. He looked like he was going through the phase like right about
That's
when
not
you
a phase.
No. I'm about to get to it. It's the phase where you go to emo and then like you reject emo with every fiber of your being and then circle back around to it later. You know what I mean? Like it looked like he was going through the dip. But somewhere out there in America is some kid who has demon goat shoulders in Sharpie on an official Dungeons and Dragons cert.
Hell yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to make your day and it's going to cost me nothing. Like, it takes me 3 minutes of effort. And just had the great, and then it was like walking around and like I walked by a table because, you know, all the Gen Con tables are in the same place. Walked by a table. He's like, yes, my barbarian walks in. He's got goat shoulder. He's got like 2 demon goats on either arm. And I was like, that's what I like. That's the kid. That's it. We won one. Yes.
That is how you win Dungeons and Dragons.
That's how you win Dungeons and Dragons, by keeping people to play around and stick around and play with you. But my favorite thing, I want to talk about Living Worlds again because we want to talk about, like, you know, really driving home how to, like, the things you can do when you're paying attention to the way your players play and how to help.
Yes.
Like, do you like, so okay, so the trick to a lot of role-playing games I find is you never tell anybody where the rails are because the rails are always on, but you don't know where the rails go. That's the only difference. Everything is on a rail. It just doesn't matter where you go. Mm-hmm. Because like, just follow, like, your players will get on a train and they'll start going, and you're just gonna hang on to the back and go, cool, this is great, I guess. And that's fine. But if you really get to know your players, you really get to know the way they play, you start to really kind of be able to predict what they're gonna do at any given moment, because like most people will play the game a certain way, so you can tell. One of my friends, we had just started playing a Dresden Files game, and they played one character. Like, they had played an entire game with one character. It was the only character. It was their first RPG character, and they played this in every game we played up until then. Started this game. They go, I want to try something new, but I'm really anxious, and if you give me the option to play my other character, I'm going to play them instead. And I went, okay, how do you want to solve this problem? And they were like, I need to kill them. Like, I need them to have died in the game so I know I can't play them anymore. And I went, sure, we can do that. We were just, it was a new system. We were just starting to learn it. I made a bunch of pre-mades for my 3 players to get them introduced to the world and give them some like early, you know, sort of understanding of how to play the game. So they do like your classic war murder mystery, except one of them's a psychic, and so like they go in and they like uncover the crime scene. They go in, like, they see what's going on, and then one of them sort of taps back into a vision of the past and sees like all these things happening, and who, like, there's someone hiding under the bed. There's two men come in the door, and then like a person is hiding under the bed from, and then one of them sort of like rushes into the room, and then the scene fades to black, and that's what you see. And they're like, that's super cool. That was our first. That was our first game. The second game, we sat up their actual characters and played them, and we started playing. The said person was playing their a new character that they had, or was playing their old character, and then we did a quick player break. Two of them went off one way, their character went off the other way, and then I killed them off screen, and then stuck their new character into the next scene, where they went into an apartment to find that their friend had been murdered, and that said player's new character was hiding under the bed. It is at this point one of my friends, who's extremely genre savvy, goes, "Motherfucker, did you have us investigate our own murder scene last week?" And I went, "Yeah."
Nice.
And the thing when they realized it was, I had successfully predicted what their characters that they were talking to me that they were going to build were going to do if introduced into a murder, because I knew them well enough to be like, okay, you're going to go in the door, you're going to try to come in as a tiger, and you're going to tell him that's a stupid idea because you're trying to go in the front door of an apartment. You can't just walk a tiger in the front door of the apartment. And they were just like, you did a scene we haven't played yet in media res. And I went, yeah. And they were like, that's awful. We hate you. That's great. Keep going. And that's that. If you can know your players, because the more you get to know them, and the more you get to understand them, the more you can tailor that game to them in a way, not like that guy, that is fun and enhances the joy of the people around you, because that is the point.
See, this is kind of why I like TTRPGs, because my experience is so on the other side of that, in the sense that I know my players to a point,
mm-hmm.
but my favorite kind of people to play with are the ones that always surprise me.
Oh, sure.
And for me, the rails are always negotiable, but I try not to let them know that. It's so in the negotiation, is it something like, well, can we do this? And I go, yes or no. The negotiation happens when I go, okay, so here's the wall, here's the thing that they can do or they can't do. And then they go, well, we did this. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't account for that. But it's so cool that, guess what? We're moving the rails.
Yeah, no, the rails for me are always you just pick up the rail, you put down behind them, you pick it up, and you put it in front, and you just kind of, it's like you're like the Looney Tunes character, you're just getting the train. The Wallace and Gromit train. Yeah, that's just it. You're just you're just throwing everything in front of you as you're moving. But it's all on a rail, because the rail is really it's not about you guiding them to story beats. It's about you taking story beats that were over there that you thought they'd be interested in, and then veering off. Actually, you'd be like, okay, well, that's coming with me now. Hold on. We're going to throw that over there instead, because you're clearly more interested in this, and I don't care about that. We're just going to yeet that over here.
I still remember in my 3.5 days, there was a major event. I spent weeks planning for this. It's the Great War in the East, which is a very major plot point in my homebrew world, where each party member controlled a regiment of soldiers, and it was going to be a whole
the war in the East, Noir. Yeah, big part of your homebrew side.
Yeah. You want to fight about it? And what I did not plan for was I was splitting the party a little bit so that they would all be generals, essentially. But this came at, I believe they were around level 16 or 17, and they had got on with each other so well, and they knew that this was the big event, that they spent weeks planning combo moves.
Beautiful.
That I did not account for. For example, there was a chronographer, because a lot of homebrew crazy 3.5 stuff, and a druid, and what they had done was I gave them 4 days to go get whatever resources, whatever that you want to brace for this event. and the druid went and got a lot of tree seeds. Oh, bye. The druid went and got a lot of tree seeds, and I'm like, weird, but okay.
Oh no, instant trees. Oh no, I know where this is going. Instant trees.
And so the druid gave the chronographer a bunch of tree seeds.
Yeah.
Instant trees.
And summoned a bunch of giant eagles.
Yep.
They dropped tree missiles on my fucking armies. I did not see that coming.
It's like falling trees from the sky. Nope, didn't plan for that.
Oh, it got worse because the sorcerer set all the trees on fire.
Flaming trees. Oh, great.
Flaming tree missiles.
I'm reminded of that one line from King Helsing Abridged now, where it's just like, oh, great, missile trees, wonderful, and now they're on fucking fire.
It's the whole thing. Like, I planned for them to like have to inspire their troops and maneuver their troops, and like I came up with all these.
Instantly wiping out the enemy's army is pretty fucking inspiring, honestly.
You mean I don't even have to fight? Cool.
By the time it got to like army versus army, it was a slaughter.
It was like my army versus your 6 remaining panicked people. All right, let's go.
Let's do this.
How was I supposed to plan for the tree missiles?
No combat survives.
Hey, Noir. Looks like you should put a canopy over your army.
Seems they took a branching path.
Oh my god!
They really went out on a limb there.
I fucking hate this entire goddamn.
You may probably wish they would just leave your army alone, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I earned this.
Sure.
You guys are trying to get the camera angle, and I'm not gonna give it to you. I'm not gonna give it to you. You want it too bad, you motherfuckers.
What if I act nicely for it?
I lied. Fucking sick of y'all shit. You hear me? I'm sick of it. You knock it off. You fucking behave yourselves. Things got a little sappy, but no, it's just I love when my players surprise me.
How would you like to do this?
God damn it! I love when my players surprise me. I really do like. I mean, because I feel like if your players surprise you, then that means that you've done enough of a job in world creation where there's so much there that you can out for it, and that's fucking beautiful. Like,
like that's the thing. Like, for me especially, I really love when my players surprise me because I make it my job to understand them and the way they play. And so when they surprise me, I'm like, yeah.
Actually, they did set up camp in the flaming pits of the corpses of the enemies. Thank you for asking.
Wow, nice. There you go. Yeah.
I had a bonfire right there. Some s'mores after.
Beautiful.
I spent weeks, y'all. You don't understand. Like I thought I had countermeasures for everything, but like,
I didn't suspect trees. Trees I failed to account for.
Like, the thing is, they had the sorcerer and the wizard lobbing useless spells, and that's what my enemy spellcasters were spending time countering. Didn't think that the Eagles had tree missiles. To this day, that haunts me.
Let me. Oh man. Okay. Do you want to hear an entire? All right. Actually, speaking of that guy story, so there was. Let me tell you about Shadowrun.
Oh fuck Shadowrun.
One, fuck Shadowrun. Two, so there was a wonderful section of the Shadowrun era called the DMSO Wars. And if you've watched, if you were a fan of Spoonie Bard back in the day, you've heard this story. DMSO. So DMSO. I don't remember the actual chemical compound for it, but basically it makes things porous. It makes chemicals able to be absorbed through the skin. And so what happened was people found this out when they released this album, and they went, well, does that mean we can just mix anything with that? And everyone went, well, yeah, technically, I guess. So people are like, oh, we can just mix like sleeping agents in with DMSO and just hit people with Nerf guns and they'll fall over. Because like fucking water guns, and that's what happened. So people started investigating DMSO and running around with water guns, just incapacitating everybody, because the way Shadowrun's rules worked is there wasn't actually anything in the mechanics to stop DMSO from working. Even full plate armor had half porous and not full, so DMSO could just still work occasionally.
Dimethyl sulfoxide.
That's the one. Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia.
And so what that means was the escalation at the time, and this happened in multiple places across the forums and in multiple groups, was, all right, so my players got DMSO. Now what? Cover your units, cover your guards in trash bags. Oh, well, now they've brought regular guns to puncture the trash bags so they can shoot them with the DMSO. Well, then put them in, like, I don't know, like armored, like, quarantine suits. Okay, well, they've done that. Well, why don't you use the DMSO against them? Why don't we put them on, like, carts with sprinkler heads and just drive them into people and then, like, have them spray DMSO everywhere? And this became an entire, like, escalating arms race worth of nonsense with DMSO until basically a whole bunch of people went, can we please stop now? Let's just ban this for the love of God. So the reason that guy story is, look, if you're going to get antagonistic with your players or your GM even, you're going to start a war that nobody wants to actually happen. Because it's going to change your entire game around it. It's going to warp it around this thing you want to do. And it's going to get really boring for everyone real fast. Because then it's just about how can I best counter the cool idea you're coming up with.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Shadowrun was one of the few games where I had a GM go nuclear on metagamer Munchkin.
Yup. Oh yeah, the Spoonie video is called Squirt Gun Wars. That is a thing. Spoonie did a video on it. But yeah, it happened to a lot of people. My group had a very similar story. And I only remembered it when Spoonie talked about it. I went, oh yeah, that happened, didn't it? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, Shadowrun. I had an okay time with Shadowrun. I had a facial.
Never played it.
Shadowrun is a much better video game than it is a TTRPG.
I played a facial adept, which I realize is real bad right now because a lot of the things that I took as that adept are pretty bad. Because it was like, you have an implant for melanin control and an implant for facial sculpting. So you look like, yeah, woof.
Man, what I'd give to have some melanin control. God. Man, you know how many tickets I would have got out of?
As a white chick? Yeah.
Yep. Shadowrun is one of those things.
I'm glad that I'm a different person than I was when I played that game.
Shadowrun is one of those things where I really wish, the going into too much detail just hurts it.
Yeah.
Because, you could have just been like, yeah, I've got implants that should allow me to, reshape my body. Cool, done. End of story. We're done. Moving on. Next. You could have left that alone. Yeah. But nope, you had to put melanin implant in there just for realism.
Yeah. It's like, what's wrong with being a cyber zombie with so much tech in you that you speak like a 56K modem?
I mean, that was my aesthetic in Shadowrun, right? So fair. Well, that's not true. I was a street samurai, but yeah.
A street samurai? That sounds badass.
Street samurais are pretty badass. Deckers are pretty cool, too.
Deckers are cool. Hackers are cool, but they play their own minigame for half an hour. It's really awkward.
It really is.
Because hacking is an entire minigame in Shadowrun. It's not like a check. You have to do a bunch of stuff. But it's all happening technically in real time. So basically what you do is the hacker goes, I'm going to hack something. And everyone else goes, cool, we're going to go get snacks. Bye. And we'll be back in 20 minutes once you're done.
The poor GM is just like, can you please get me something while you're out? Because I have to help facilitate this. I can't take a break either.
I'll take wings, please.
Yikes!
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah, that.
It was.
The Epic Game Store just had a bunch of Shadowrun games for free.
All of the video games are
Video
very
games are
good
good.
because you play a single character and you don't have to care about what anyone else thinks about what you're doing in any given moment, which makes Shadowrun is best played as a single player game, honestly.
Okay. I think you just sold me of actually like I bought them because
they're free. No, Shadowrun Returns is a solid game. It's not great. Shadowrun Dragonfall is good. Shadowrun Hong Kong is fucking awesome.
Okay.
And they're basically virtual reality combat. That's right.
Yeah, it's turn based and you do all sorts of cool stuff. It's very fun.
And a Shadowrun game now with a Technomancer. Ooh, fancy.
Ooh, fun.
I haven't played Shadowrun since 3rd edition, I want to say.
They released a rules light RP heavy version that I played once, and that was super cool because the thing I've always loved about Shadowrun is really the setting and less of the game.
Yeah, I had a GM that would go full on and like make maps of places that we would have to infiltrate.
Yup.
And like
I
had probably the coolest Halloween episodes that we ever did. We were stuck in one of the pyramids and it was haunted. In one of the pyramids in Tenochtitlan.
Nice. One of my friends who ran Shadowrun was an architect, and that meant he had a big light up table, so we all played Shadowrun around the light up table with our own little like fold out IKEA trays or whatever the hell. But that meant that when it was time for the planning phase, he would reach over, pull out a fucking blueprint and spread it out on the table so you could see all of the points. And we were like, yo, that's so cool. Why did you do that? He's like, I have a lot of skills and a lot of free time currently. And we were like,
that was our GM for that too.
Oh, so good.
You know what? That kind of leads me to a question that I think played nicely into this conversation.
Sure.
Tell me about a time where a GM went well beyond the Call of Duty, where a GM just like surprised you with the amount of effort that they just put into something. Like,
that would imply I get to play games, Noir.
Yeah, kind of same mood there.
Hashtag forever GM.
I mean, I was thinking about how I spent 2 weeks coming up with the war mechanic only to have my players fuck me to death with trees. So, like...
Well, that's going on your grave.
For those people just tuning in,
for
people just tuning in at the moment that Noir says "fuck me to death with trees," welcome to Morning Ritual.
I mean, similar thing to like definitely like the architecture, like blueprints of the place we were working at is super cool. I think though one of my favorites was the guy who hooked up the virtual map to his TV, nice. And so it would scroll every time we moved, like a side scroller almost. Cool. Yeah, I don't like
I have one, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah, no, like most of my stories about people going all out are actually back when I used to play like war games, because then it was all like terrain and stuff. The one time a GM went full out was the one time someone took the hack of a war game to make a Girls in Panzer tank girl war strategy, like tabletop wargaming thing, where all of the different abilities were based on like the different schools in the game, and so all the captains of them had different like rally abilities and stuff. But you were essentially playing a tank strategy game, like it's like on like custom terrain and everything as the different schools in like one of their training exercises. That was crazy because it was like custom field, custom tanks. Like they had put like together the sets from all these other war games they had built. It was super cool.
Mine actually turns from that guy to actually kind of cool, but I really am regretting the fact that this campaign didn't go anywhere. I had a murder hobo dungeon master that would only run Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil in 3.5.
God.
And he knew that entire adventure back to fucking front. He knew every single story beat. He didn't even need the book. He had it by his side just for just in case he needed to reference anything, but he rarely used it, mostly for stat blocks. That's about it. We fucked up that temple so many times. None of us survived. We were all level 3, and then we kept dying, and then he wouldn't bring any of us back at, like, maybe a little bit of a higher level. No, we kept dying, and the story kept progressing, and we kept trying to go into these areas at level 3 when it should take you from level 3 to, like, level 6 or level
6 or 8
or something like that. So we were going to these areas that we should have been going into at about level 6 or level 8. But no, we were still level 3 because we kept dying. And he was just like, you know what, finally, just fuck it. And he started this campaign where, okay, you've lost the Temple of Elemental Evil. The worst thing that could possibly happen at the end of this game has happened. The world has ended. The gods have come back. The gods are fighting. Your entire party has been trapped in these amber bubbles, and you watch the entire thing unfold and the entire thing play out. You've watched this epic battle. The bad guys have won. And now you are in the world 1,000 years later. Here's how things have changed. You are free from your amber. Now you have to make sense, displaced from time, of a world that has changed moved beyond what you can, and moved on without you as heroes.
That's dope.
Where do you go from here? What do you do?
That's way cool. That's a way cooler game.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds fucking badass.
And we played one session of it, and the rest of the party flaked.
Boo!
Yeah. Boo!
I was like, this is the one time we were actually able to get the GM, like, get the DM to, like, let off his shackles and, like, actually get fucking creative for once and not run the same goddamn canned adventure every single fucking Saturday night or, like...
Yep.
Ugh.
Oh, that's gonna lead me into another question, but
okay.
I've got
story first.
I've got my story to tell. So
still mad.
First
I'm still
off,
salty about this.
Nice.
First off, the DM that I'm mentioning is Sarah X Franco on Twitter. Please give her a follow because
she's great.
What she did was fucking brilliant. So we're playing a one shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's your basic one shot. It's a story where we come to a town that was affected by an earthquake, and we're trying to find this lost dude. We're trying to find this lost individual and solve a murder at the same time.
All right.
So they're playing the one shot, and you know, the gang that this guy was a member of was Genesis, and you know, we're also looking for the lost number, which is the name of his dagger, and then we stumble upon a few other tidbits, and we come across this magical item, and we're trying to figure out how to make the magical item work, and we figure out that the command word is Susudio.
Yep.
And you know, we finish the adventure, and it's very fucking awesome. And Sarah goes, "So what did y'all think?" And we're like, "This is fucking dope." And she goes, "Is there anything else you might have noticed?" And I'm like, "Genesis, Susudio." This was a Phil Collins based one shot, wasn't it? Nice. Everything that happened was a Phil Collins reference, from the person that was murdered to all of it, but it was done so subtly that you had no idea that that's what the fuck was happening.
The only story I have like that is the one time it's like that, but completely different, where someone it was the exact opposite. It was just extremely obvious what it was supposed to be, because we all got there's someone was like, "Hey, we want to play a game, but we're sick and tired of Curse of Strahd or whatever." So we rewound all the characters back to the start of Curse of Strahd, and the mists roll in, but we don't show up in the demi-plane of darkness. No. We show up in what the GM reveals to us is the demi-glaze of taste.
Welcome to Flavor Town.
We were it was just a Flavor Town game from then on. We went, oh no! And so you had to run around beating like the Elite Four of the cooking world in order to get in order to go back home. It was great.
Magic rope and made the magic word for it spaghetti because it's a spaghetti rope.
Nice. Yep. I mean, on that, I have to say, please check out Chromatic Chimera because they have a few Guy Fieri based one shots that's run by the
I used to
wonderful
look
Mr.
like Guy
Pudding.
Fieri for a while. I had a minute where the tire top of my
Don't
head
tell
was
me
dying.
you had the frosted tips.
No, I didn't have frosted tips, but I did for a little bit because I died.
Oh my god!
I died at full platinum blonde for a while because I was playing for a LARP character at one point, and then I just didn't maintain it because dyeing Asian hair platinum blonde is fucking hard. And so I was like, nah, no thank. But yeah, for a while I ended up with the frosted tips and the goatee. And so I was just like, and then like one of my friends had the Guy Fieri flame shirt, so I did that for Halloween one time.
Nice.
I was Asian Guy Fieri.
Asian Guy Fieri.
Asian Guy Fieri for Halloween.
Yes.
But actually, yes. So when we were talking, I realized there was a time that the GM did go beyond it. So we were playing a convention, like a Holiday Inn or some shit, and then a friend and I had just put out a mod. It's called Birds of Feather. It's one of my favorite things ever, and it's extremely anime. The main characters, the main bosses at the end are both warlocks who use Eldritch Blast, but their Eldritch Blast are shaped like muskets, so they're just Mami Tomoe from Maguka, from Madoka Magica, and but it's a pirate themed adventure. We're playing this thing, and we look up. We know that this group is running it because we know the GM that we gave it to. And the GM gets up and picks up his entire group for the table and starts to leave the room. And we go, what are you doing? And he goes, I need 2 flashlights and one of those like fake lamps you have. And we went, what? He's like, don't ask questions. I need 2 flashlights and a fake lamp. And I went, well, that's the exact energy I had when I asked for that one story cert. So get the man 2 flashlights and a lamp.
Yeah.
And then we followed. What we didn't realize and what we had forgotten was there is a replica pirate ship in the middle of this hotel, like in the lobby. You can eat dinner on it in the on season. So there they are, this entire group, huddled around a table on the deck of a replica pirate ship in this hotel, in pitch black because that section of the room isn't lit at all, like with a fake lantern, and the GM is reading the text with flashlights. But that group had the greatest fucking time. Like, they were laughing the whole time because it's just pirate nonsense up on this ship. And they were like, that was the coolest thing we've ever done. And I was like, good. That's how we love that. God bless.
So here is my next question, heavily inspired by Anita. We have all been in campaigns that have been promising and based on very exciting concepts, but ultimately fizzle out. This is a shout out to the campaigns that could have been. So please give me give me a campaign that could have been, but fizzled out.
Oh God, so many.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the one that I can tell.
I've got one.
Okay. Why don't you start?
Yeah, so I was in a game where magic was all but dead. And the people who could use the magic, you already know, the people that could use the magic only had limited control over it. So
gotcha.
Our DM created custom classes based around the Chaos Sorcerer. So there are different kinds of Chaos Sorcerer, kind of representing the fact that we could kind of do magic, but we didn't really have a mastery of it because there was barely any magic left. And so the way that this world worked,
she did nothing wrong.
Yes, she did. The way that this world worked was that there was a structure of government called the Archon, who would send out knights to collect people that had any sort of control over magic at all.
Yep.
And they would put them in these schools, and they like each class was essentially called a circle. And they trained them to be like family and to go off and do missions for the Archon. Our circle was called the Broken Circle because things happened, not gonna spoil. And we had to go and figure out why we were broken. And it was very emotional. It was very chaotic. Latia dropped a fireball on me on a wooden ship.
She did nothing wrong.
Yeah, yes, she did. And it was a campaign that I wish we got to finish because it was very heavy.
Yeah.
Mine was definitely that 3.5 game. Like
Fair. Yeah.
Like you start out where everything you lose everything. Like, and it was so cool how he built it up too, because it was like you can watch these factions. They are starting to, like, we thought we were gearing up for like an epic battle, like we were going to start with like on parapets, we were going to command armies, like that sort of thing, and then we got taken out of the fight entirely by one of the gods. Ugh, my heart goes out to that one. Or as a GM, I guess there are games. There was one that I had that was like so again, it was kind of one of those, the world had already ended, but you were the mists or the miasma, very similar to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, had rolled into the world, and so the world had to be elevated. Dwarves and elves work together, dwarves with their craftsmanship, elves with their magic, to raise mountains into the sky and hold them aloft so that the remains of the mortals could survive. And so there were airships, and there was a whole bunch of fun stuff, and I was like, oh, I really want this campaign to go, and I really want like this, and then everything fizzled out. But there was going to be like, no, the people that are there are still people in the mist, and they survive and they live. They're fine. It's just everybody that lives in the top has everything great, and so the people that were the factions that live underneath were still trying to like bring the cities back down and solve the problem. Yeah. Which I kind of really wanted to go with that campaign. I really wanted that one to go somewhere, but my group that was the first campaign that I ever ran. And,
oh, nice.
Yeah, pour one out for that one.
Yeah, pour one out for the first campaign you ever ran, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I got another question.
Okay.
Did we go with John's yet?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
Do you have one?
You're good. Yeah, I think, yeah. So
your potential campaign, the campaign that could have been.
I am plagued by this problem where that a lot of my friends, because of the nature of like the profession, are in like mental health counseling or health care or whatever, which means that our schedules tend to just implode randomly.
Yeah.
It happens.
So one of my friends was great. They do they're a like child psychiatrist now, I think, which good luck to them. But one of the games we were running, so they like mage, so World of Darkness, mage, the mage games, and I will throw this out at the very start. Mage is not for everybody.
Mage,
if you don't like,
not.
Yeah, even Awakening, like both of them really aren't for everybody. Like if you don't like doing real math and flowcharts to understand how your abilities work, don't play the game. It's really fun for me. I really enjoyed it because it felt like being back in a chem lab and like actually doing science but magic instead.
Yeah, that
so
sounds
like
complicated.
Yeah, it is. And it's really, I find it really fun, but again, not for everybody. So we were playing this mage game, and I was playing a character because I had figured out way back when that there was a neat way. I was like, what is the dumbest thing I can do with magic off the top of my head? And I was like, dance parties! That was what jumped to my brain. So we figured out a way that I created a mage, and I created a section of magic where I was like, well, if you combine these two and put them all together and like wove all the spells, you could theoretically have a domain or like a sanctum that is a dance hall, and you can design the place to like store the kinetic energy of people dancing and hitting the floor, and channel that and turn that into Forces magic, and then convert Forces magic into Prime magic so that you can use it to power magic.
Who wants to do magic?
This entire conversation has made me realize I'm not nearly as nerdy as some of my friends. Like, you guys are pulling out systems and animes and shit that I've never even fucking heard.
Bruh, you know what? That's okay. It just means you now have more things to look at. So I created this mage for this, and basically what he would do is there was that layer of magic, but there was also a layer of mind magic over the entire sanctum. And what it was is that moment like for those of you who have family reunions or have had weird, very white undergrad upbringings, imagine the first time that you had to learn something like Cotton Eye Joe or the Cha-Cha Slide or the Cupid Shuffle. Mm-hmm. And there's that weird, hot, awkward moment where you're standing there kind of watching everybody, and eventually you'll get it, but it takes you a minute to figure out when you turn to the left and when you slide to whatever. There was the subtle layer of mind magic eliminated that waiting period. It made it so that you always knew the steps to whatever song was about to play. So people, and then like lowered people's inhibitions. And so people would just start dancing because they were like, yeah, I know this one. And then they would leave 6 hours later and be like, what the fuck did I just do for 6 hours? All I remember is it was dancing and it was really fun. That was it. It was like, slight there. And then the GM turns to me and goes, so you made a villain? I went, yeah! Like, duh! Like, this is someone who was like essentially like using sleepers in a nightclub, like people who don't know about magic in a nightclub to power his own magic. And he was like, cool, you can't play that character, you know. And I was like, I know, but I made it. And he's like, well, I have a way you can play it. And I went, how? So what he did was, when we were doing it, we made it so that the two characters that the other players were carrying, because they were actual members of the wizard cops, as it were. But they were the ones that essentially interfered with what he was doing and stopped him. And there was a ritual that backfired, and he ended up like essentially reverting through time, becoming the younger version of himself with his mind wipes. So he was just like, a 19-year-old with no memories whatsoever. Yeah, damn the wizard cops. You're right. And so the game we started playing was them shepherding this 19-year-old around who could use magic and was still good at magic but didn't know how or why, and trying to get this character to not go back to being the evil person he was like a year and a half ago. We played a session and a half of that game, and then in the middle of that second session, said Dr. Friend got a call and went, well, this is gonna suck, and we could never schedule another one after that.
Oh.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite setups for a game. One of my favorite setups for a game.
Here's the other question that I wanted to ask. Let's flip it on its side. What is your proudest moment as a GM? Like, when have you gone above the Call of Duty and really kind of surprised your players?
No, that's a good question. Have I? I think I. Actually, I think I have. I think I.
Wait, look at how stunned this question got.
That's a good question, though.
Everyone's like, "Wait, crap! Hold on. Where did I put my imposter syndrome?"
Yeah, exactly right.
I need to wave it in front of my face. Yeah, I don't know.
I brought back a reference to something that Jamie's character did in a game a couple months back. Like, he did this in a game like 3 years prior, and he's still playing the same character. And I introduced this this NPC, which is an ancient gold dragon, and he's just like, wait a sec, I know that fucking dragon. I dealt with that dragon. I charmed that dragon. So that was cool. That was cool to bring that back. I wrote in a plot in the last game session that I did before COVID hit, because we used to play at a local bar here. That's how Critical Misses started. Anyway, I was building up a Rakshasa as a big bad evil, and the party was like, okay, well, how do we stop this? You gotta go to this cavern, you can find this thing, you'll get a vision that's the truth that will help you get to the point where you can at least gather the things that you need to unlock this next phase. And I'm like, okay, here's the vision that you get. And the name of the person that they found, that they realize is like an ancient wizard, named Pravana. Pravana's Reach is actually the name of the town that the whole adventure is based in. They're like,
nice.
Wait a sec. What the hell? And then Jamie's character, who is a bard named Errol Chandler, was just like, has the vision and is like, sees the dragon and is like, wait a second, I remember this lore. The dragon stopped Pravana from reaching immortality. Because like she had a spell that could carry her forward in time. And he needed to acquire that spell so that way he could get back. There's a whole time skip episode because I had 9 players at my table, 10 players at my table. Oof. And so I needed to split them into 2 more manageable groups because schedules being what they were, I had half the group that was able to come on Friday and half the group that was able to come on Saturday. So time skip in the middle of a dungeon. So he was just like, wait, I know this. I know all this. And like, it was like from 3 years ago, and it was like probably a more satisfying moment as a GM where it was just like, yeah, you do, because you know this, you've experienced this, you know the spell, and you know that probably somewhere she's still trapped in Amber and she's waiting for that keyword to be spoken. So the next episode was going to be like a whole Da Vinci Code, try and find where she's entombed underneath the city, and they'd revisit all these old places. Anyone that is currently in chat, Twix Pie, Lauren Danger also played in that game.
Oh, nice.
And like, so, like that was kind of where I was going for the next session of that game, and then I couldn't go play at bars anymore.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Ja?
Exactly. You just gotta pick up the imposter syndrome and just
like,
yeet it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Out the door.
I don't know. I can't really think of a time of like my proudest moment as a GM, because I think most of my pride is in my players and what they do.
Yeah.
I will say that one of my favorite things as a GM witnessing my players do was back at Gen Con. We ran the epic for season 2, which is the Cult of Elemental Evil. It was all of the Prince of the Apocalypse storyline. And one of the things that the Cult of Elemental Fire has is a siege engine that they built. It's powered by like combustion that punches in through the walls of the city. And so what they did was the group I was doing commandeered it before it could get through the final wall, and then drove it. But then they put the plot is like every single one of these things is carrying like an elemental orb of something or other, and they're like, hey, which are basically like, big elemental nukes essentially. And my players went, hey, well, what happened if we threw that into the reactor of the siege engine as a way to get rid of it and the siege engine at the same time? And I went, well, roll me a D percentile. From like a 1 to 50, it explodes and detonates immediately. From like a 50 to like 99, it like zooms off in a direction never to be seen again. And then like, I guess on 100, you like shoot it up a mountain and it fist bumps the moon or something. I don't fucking know. And like, we're all laughing while I'm describing this nonsense. They roll, they get 100. So I'm like, all right, well, so the other tables watch and listen as I because like there's a whole bunch of them around us, all sort of stop because they've also been following this conversation, and turn as I describe a siege engine of the Call of Elemental Fire zooming up the side of a mountain, hitting a straight vertical, shooting into the atmosphere, and fist bumping the moon.
Because they rolled 100.
Because they rolled 100, and I was like, "Well, I'm very proud of you, you absolute assholes. Let's get back to the game now." But yeah, it's like, oh no.
Jamie, proudest moments when players created musical playlists for each of the Kids on Bikes
That's
characters.
so good.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so dope.
I love when players give you like Pinterest boards and like Spotify
Yes.
playlists. You're just like, yeah, keep it coming. This is
Give me
great.
this. Give me all this.
Keep talking about the game. Keep talking about the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please continue to give me
I think
knives.
that's good.
with which
Those
to
are
stab
good,
you.
proud GM moments is when you can get your players invested.
Yeah.
To the point
Right.
where it's just like, all right. I like how yours was. It was like, it's not just the players that are invested, it's the players at other tables are invested.
Yeah, they're like, what's gonna happen here? Oh shit! It's great. I love when that happens. Yeah, it's like.
How about you?
So, okay, yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
So I had a game that was going on for a while, and I had a player that couldn't make it for a few days because of medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the story reason that their character was missing is because they had found an ancient artifact that shunted them back in time for a bit. So when I realized like, okay, they're gonna be out for a little bit, I went back to like some of the first people that I ever played with, and I was just like, hey, you remember that really important session where your paladin got knighted? And they were like, yeah, that was a pretty cool one. I was like, you want to do it again? And they were like, we're on board. What's going on? So I tell my current players, all right, I'm going to have a private session with, this person, and we'll get you all up to date on what happens. And so person A starts to feel better. They're like, okay, I can get back into D&D. And I'm like, awesome. You and me, Sunday, I got a surprise. And it's very weird because I've moved around a little bit. Like I've like the older I've gotten, the closer to the city I've gotten. So I called in all my old friends and we all met up. And I'm just like, I'd like to introduce you to Leonius. And like, I'm introducing this player to these historical figures in my world. Like, this is Leonius, this is Dimaglodox, this is Bingo, this is Derek. He's just like,
all right, so the entire gamut of D&D fantasy names right there.
Yeah.
Bingo and Derek.
Yeah.
These are actual names.
Will strike you down.
These are actual. These are their names.
That's me.
Anyway, so like I introduced her to them. And he's like, "Wait, really?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Hey."
Yep.
It's like from someone who's named their literally named their character Odd.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
So I had the original notes from this particular session, and we started going through it all again, except with the addition of somebody from the future. And the thing is, I was playing the original game was 3.5. This is somebody coming from 5e, so their magic was kind of haywire. Is how I played that off.
Yeah.
And I had never seen somebody just so enamored with, like, the reason that I went this far for this person is because they were one of the, those people that are so ready to buy into the world that it just makes GMing easier. Like, it's just like, oh my God, you give a shit. And because you give a shit, I want to give you all the roses. This was that person. And them being able to, like, not me talking as Leonius, who was one of the like core figures of my world, but talking to actual Leonius, like, and them understanding the gravity of that. Like, I was GMing, but the whole time I was like,
The best GM moments are the bit where you just go,
yeah, look at it happen.
just gonna settle in here, gonna get my popcorn. Don't mind. Continue. No, please don't mind me.
Like, here's one of the conversations that happened, and I no lie, I've openly wept. She knows how each one of these historic figures dies. And each one of the party members handled it genuinely how they would handle it. Leonidas goes, whatever's supposed to happen, that's the way it's supposed to go. B goes very much like, bitch, you better tell me what the fuck happened. What happens? Who do I need to cut first? And it was just such a genuine moment where it's just like this person who is playing a character that is inspired by these heroes gets to meet these heroes and they're their genuine selves. Oh,
it's not just like being a figure from a history book. You get to meet the real person behind them.
Right?
Yep.
She got to find out Leonidas can't handle his liquor, and Bingo loves to get him drunk, even if he doesn't know he's getting drunk. So she gets to see like this King Arthur type figure get drunk. He's not great.
Yeah.
It was just all the little touches that made that one of my favorite sessions.
Yeah. Jamie's like, that happened with the Kids on Bikes game. Yeah, that he got up and went to the washroom, and me, my friends Kent and Stacy, we continued playing the game without the GM. We just kept world building.
Hell yeah.
And at one point I was just like, wait, hold up. We don't even have a GM here. We should probably hold up and wait until he actually comes back before we continue this, because we've got some good roleplay going and we're like really interacting well, and we should probably wait till he comes back, give him the Cliff's Notes, and then dive back in.
Yep.
Yeah. JB's really good at just letting the action happen and unfold with his characters. He'll give you the framework, and he's going to be running Kids on Bikes on Sundays.
Hell yeah.
He starts on with Now Leaving St. Lemmings on the 20th of the month. It's going to be the first episode.
Super exciting.
All right, so I feel that we're all winding down a bit, so I think we got enough for one question left in the tank. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. I say that not having a question at all prepared.
Hey, chat, you got a question?
Hey, chat, yeah, bring it on. We're doing all the work here, damn it. Just kidding.
You have a question you'd like us to
Let me
answer,
stop
please.
antagonizing chat before they come and fuck me up. Well, hold on. Is Lauren still in there?
No, Lauren's left for the day.
Okay, good. Then I can talk shit. Because I ain't scared of the rest of you motherfuckers.
But Lauren could probably kill you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, definitely. Lauren can definitely kill me, but I don't think the rest of these chumps can take me.
Wow. All right, we went from wait a minute, are we good to antagonizing.
Let's your favorite pun you've heard this year.
Ooh, most therapeutic moment in the game.
Most therapeutic moment in a game. I think that's the question that we're gonna go with.
Mine is the persona attack, and that pun was golden.
Nice.
No, we're doing the other question, Anita. That's the question that we're here.
Welcome in, Husha Kid. Just right at the
end.
Most therapeutic moment in a game.
Oh.
Fuck.
Shit.
The fuck you say no more? Kuja, did you come in here ready to start talking shit? You think I won't fuck you up because you just woke up?
Oh my lord.
JB, this morning, do you think you should maybe tell Dwar to cool it on trying to fight the chat? I'm like, no. The chat likes it. And he likes it. It's fine.
Oh man.
Maybe I can't be stopped.
Most therapeutic moment in a game. That's a hard one.
I know which one will be therapeutic, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
My son has been taken from me in my Curse of Strahd game.
Oh.
and my character is feeling a type of way about it, and like, you know, when you're fucked up IRL over something that happens in a game.
Yep.
Bleed.
That's where I'm at right now.
Bleed,
And I can tell you that once I get my son back, I'm gonna feel great. I'm gonna feel great. And especially,
you sound like you've read my thesis.
I might have skimmed it.
They took my boy. They took my son.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I've been quoting Mel Gibson for a week because of that. Give me back my son.
Not Liam Neeson?
No, because I wasn't around when he was taken, so I couldn't talk to the person. I don't know who took him. I mean, it's heavily implied that it's Strahd, and like, I already wanted to fist fight Strahd, but now it's personal. Yeah. He took my boy.
I don't know if it was catharsis. Content warning, I suppose. Okay. Death in the family, because I think everybody knows this story. I've been pretty open with it before, but at the end of the last season of Scraticus Academy, my mom passed away. Cancer, real quick progression. It was shit. So I missed the second to last episode because the second to last episode because I had to go back to take care of her in her last days, and the day after the penultimate episode was when we buried her, when we had the funeral. And so the next day, or the next week on the Tuesday, we had to do the final episode, and my character Finny, who has been wrestling with mortality and wrestling with the fact that their lover, their spouse, their partner is essentially a god, and that's where he draws his cleric powers from. I had been dealing with death for like the last couple, pretty much the entirety of that run, and I'd been coping with that through that game a lot. And so when it came to the final episode, a lot of Finny's mourning and a lot of Finny's grief over having to ascend or having to lose his partner was me, Anita, processing that. So there was a lot of bleed through with that. And like the last episode where I had to say goodbye as Finny, I still get choked up about it. Just because it was but yeah, that was definitely the one moment where it was a little bit therapeutic and a little bit cathartic to say goodbye as that character. While also saying goodbye as me.
I feel that.
I'm all right.
Welcome back to the feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. We went from hentai to feelings. How did that happen?
That's right. Morning ritual. We cover it all.
Nutshell, really.
Yeah.
Oh man. So.
Thanks for the ghost hugs, everybody. Yeah. Thanks for the hearts in chat.
Yeah, one of the things I will say also, therapeutic moments in your games, right? The one thing I will say that a lot of what we don't do as a community is tell people when we're dealing with stuff that our character is dealing with stuff. I was actually very clear with the people at my table that this is what was happening, at least. I wanted to point that out because I know when you've told that story, you've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Be very, very clear about that. Because, picture, for example, if nobody knew that.
No. They wouldn't know.
And they would just been like, bam, here's the same problem. And then you just, break down crying on stream for a reason. That's bad if no one knows what's happening.
Yeah. I was at least very clear with the people at my table and very clear with what was happening in my personal life. That was okay, here is what's happening. I'm going to probably be out this episode. This is what I need to deal with. Please understand that if I break down in character, a lot of it is me processing. And Rayer with a Brick was phenomenal at being so tender and so genuine in a lot of the scenes there. Everybody was super understanding. But yeah, communication is essential, absolutely, on that one.
I also I kind of want to interject really quick with something, which is sometimes you can build a character and you could build their circumstances and you cannot realize what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
sometimes it takes
Like, oh,
an outside perspective to kind of shake you up and go,
To go,
hey,
oh crap.
this is what you're doing. Like, I kind of really attribute this to like how close I've become with Anita, is that I built a character that was very much abused in an abusive, toxic relationship, and that drove him, that marked him, and that defined him. And it was only kind of in talking to Anita and opening up about like some of my real life experiences that they were just like, hey, this character you built is very much like this character in your life. And I was just like, wait, what? Oh my god! Fuck!
Yep.
And like, so much came crashing down in that moment where I was just like, holy fuck! Like, what did I? Oh shit!
Yeah, this NPC in your backstory is essentially this person that has occurred in your life, and you're like, oh, wait, shit, no, fuck.
Like,
oh no!
And it had gotten to the point where I had built the character, and like even the abilities and the powers and the method of which they would fight represented a little bit of how they interfered with me, like interacted with me in my life. And the fact in my head, like you know, I kind of did this, like I was talking about it as like a backstory, and this was before everything came crashing down. I remember consistently saying like, you know, my character could never beat them one-on-one. Like that was like one of the bedrocks of this relationship. It was just like they just can't win. Like that was the one thing that I was certain of. And then once that revelation came, it was just like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a problem with psychoanalyzing people. I am not at all equipped to do this, but I do it on a regular basis when it comes to characters and motivations. I'm like, oh wait, this is just that. And you're like, oh shit, it is 100% that.
Like what gets me is just how blind to it I was, but when you point it out, it's so dreadfully obvious.
Yeah.
That you're like, how did I not
One of the
see
things
that?
I love is when people are like, I'm not like creating, none of these characters are me, they're just characters I've made. I'm like, no, they are you. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, because you can't create tropes. You can mimic tropes, you can't make them, because everything you do is colored, I find, through the lens of how you perceive something, right? So even your version of a trope isn't going to match up with someone else's version of a trope. It's going to be, it'll play similarly, but there'll be other choices you make constantly as you, like, you know, the best laid plans, etc. As you run into people who are alive and active and bumping into you and changing, that is going to change in the very same way. So it's really fun to me. People are like, one of the things I know, like a bunch of like therapeutic gems that I've talked to, and like you and myself, the kind of thing we all agree on is we don't really necessarily need to force people to play things about their particular issues unless like that's the specific goal, because people will do it themselves. Like you just like give them, you're just like, you can make whatever, and they'll play something. Like someone will just play like, I'm playing Batman because that's my favorite hero, and you're like, okay, well, why is Batman your favorite hero? We've got a lot to unpack there. Like even that choice, there's like, why Batman over someone else is a choice.
Piece of you in every character you make.
Exactly.
It's like my sorceress is 100% a personification of my ADHD.
Oh boy. Mood. Yeah. Really good segue, personification wise. The most therapeutic game I've ever played in was a LARP. Actually, it's called "Here Is My Power Button." The conceit of it basically is you play. It's a 4-hour game. You play like two different groups, one group of humans and one group of AI. The concept of it is that this company is testing out companionship AI. They're building their AI. And they've pulled in this group of humans to do like their market research. Like you are the beta testers for this new model of AI. So they're like, just go in. You're gonna be assigned an AI, and you're gonna talk to them, and they're going to shape what that AI becomes. And so you do, you go and you do all those things. The trick to it is that at any time, if you are unhappy with your AI, you can reset them back to 0. So you have a group of people who are you are, as a human player, completely responsible for the identity of the person playing opposite you, which is a lot of responsibility. But I was very lucky that I got paired with a friend of mine who I had met. We played the game prior, and we're both psych nerds. And so they were like, "Who wants to play the game about emotions?" And we went, "Us." And they went, "Who wants to hurt the other person?" And we went, "Us." And they were like, "All right, you two are playing together." We were like, "Yeah." So stabbed each other in the heart multiple times during that game. At the point when this character I was playing was, stop me if you've heard this trope before, was a lonely smart, kind of socially awkward kid who spent most of his time at work and then went home and watched Netflix all day. Anyway, so
who's got a camera in here?
So the reason why they were having the test was because they basically they wanted a friend, someone they could talk to without having to worry about leaving their apartment or any of the strings of really having to have a friend on top of all of their busy schedule and stuff. So we did that, and as the game progressed and stuff, they became very close. And at the very end, we found out that all the AIs were going to be decommissioned because the company had decided, for ethical reasons, it was no longer tenable to continue this kind of experiment because the AIs were getting a little too human for their liking. There was a moment earlier prior where we had found out there had been a 6-month time skip because the program had been shut down while it was reconvened, and they reconvened it again. And knowing that we didn't know when we were going to be able to see each other again, my character and the other character and my friend's character had their goodbye. They were like, "What?" I was like, "What do you want to do? What would be the thing you want?" They're like, "I want to see the rest of the world." And we're like, "Well, we can't." So what we did was we used the holographic display in our room to simulate a beach, and we sat on the beach, then we sat in my apartment and watched a movie, since we could do that without actually having to move because it was all visual audio feeds. And we said our goodbyes then. And as we're coming up to this, I realized there's no way that this character, who has a hard time with attachment already, could possibly say goodbye to somebody twice. So they're an engineer they were an engineer at the company who had won their lottery. So what they did was reset them at the end, and our last session was my character running through the diagnostics checks of making sure that they didn't have any of the leftover memory from before to make sure it was completely gone. And then we bawled like babies for 20 minutes after that game because it was awful, and I was crying a lot, right? And so we just cried a lot. It was bad. But it was
oh my
god. That
meme,
do you want to talk about your feelings? No, I'll talk about my feelings. I know you will, Dave. I'm sad. I know, Dave.
Yeah, it was that. But it was, well, because what we had started was because the way it works is once you do, your groups separate back to the humans will talk amongst each other and the AIs will talk amongst each other. So every AI is an amalgamation of also what you have put into the pool, but also what all of the other players are putting in. And I had started the game with saying, I just want somebody that thinks for themselves, I can have a conversation with. They were like, "What do you want to have conversations about?" And I went, "These topics." And they're like, "I don't know anything about that." I'm like, "Well, why don't you look it up and read, and we can sort of talk through them together." And so what we ended up going through was, for the opening part of the game, was the meaning of what it means to be alive. Because we were like, we're going to hurt each other with this real bad. It's going to be great later.
Here's the knives. I'm going to sharpen them up real good.
Here are the knife. Here you go. We're going to hit. Yes. And so a lot of it was just us talking about what the meaning of being alive was. And then they brought some of that to their group and really started questioning what an AI is and what a human is. And then it was just one big bag feedback loop that at the very end just gut punched me so hard. Oh. It was great. if you ever get if you ever get the chance to play that game, even if you know the twists in it, it is so replayable because your dyad between you and whoever your partner is will be so different every time. It's so much fun. Highly recommend.
How about you? Like, I went through mine. John went through his. Dwar.
I went through mine was just gonna be getting my son back and murdering whoever took him.
Murdering whoever took him, and then we went deep.
You motherfuckers. Jeez.
And on that,
yeah.
You know what? I would like to re-answer my question because I thought of another one, and this actually just happened last week on Lessons in Deep Magic.
Do you want to be stabbed in the heart or shot through the leg? Give me the pain threshold.
It's true. I mean, like in communication, right? Like now, like leg, I'm not a huge fan of. I have to walk with that left arm, like right around here. I don't use this arm too much for much. Like that's fine. Just shoot me there. I can just rest it on the Wasted Keys and like move on with the rest of my day.
But at least the heart, that's debilitating. You're not going to get.
I mean, this is still nowhere near the level of heartbreak that we just discussed.
Dude, I am what we refer to as the emotional junkie LARPers. We're like, we show up to LARPs and we're like, fuck us up, fam, let's go.
I thought I was a fuck us up fam, but that's some shit. Okay, well.
Oh yeah.
I'm playing
the Stealing Act one shot was like everyone was just like, your camera work, you're just like, how do you, I'm like, in and out of character, I'm like, in it, or I'm just like,
God damn. Like, I'm still feeling the re-deletion. Anyway, I'm playing I want to
make a short film based around that.
That would be so good.
I'm playing a character who is like really good friends with a bard and a moon cleric and a rat folk chaos wizard.
Adorable.
Lessons in Deep Magic is so good.
And so we've ended up in the Shadow Realm, and this is the home native to our bard, who's like just a good dude. Like he's just really a good dude, and so he hears about an open mic night happening at this club that he's always wanted to play at. And so we go, and it turns out not only is it an open mic, but it's a battle of the bands. And like he's so excited, and we're all behind him 110%, like hyping him up, like you got this, we're gonna be behind you, we're rooting for you, you can do this. And it's just like the little touches of like he sees his uncle's name on the wall and he doesn't have a good relationship with his uncle, so that frazzes him a bit. And our characters are just like, hey, we're here for you, nobody gives a fuck about your uncle, we believe in you, you can do this, you've got this. It felt like really comforting your friend and getting them hyped to do and express themselves, right? So later on in the night, we find that one of the bards that's playing in this Battle of the Bards is like an old, like high school bully to our bard, who's played by Colin. His name is the bard's name is Bastion. So Bastion's like high school bully is there, and just because he can, Bastion kind of fucks with them a little bit, and then this guy comes up and he's talking to Bastion and just being a real dick. Just like, oh, I don't even remember your name. Who are you again? But it's kind of like he wasn't purposely being a dick. That's just his personality. Anyway, we immediately catch the vibe that Bastion hates this guy, so we're on the fuck this guy bandwagon, or at least my character is.
Is this where the charm story happened?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, Lorenzo is my character. Lorenzo is just like, fuck this guy. I'm with you 10,000%, Bastion. You got this. So now it comes time for the Battle of the Bands. And bards are allowed to use magic to enhance the experience or whatever, and it was basically a roll off, and they would get to add spells to whatever they were doing. So when their round started, Lorenzo immediately runs up to the front of the pit. So he's like looking right at the stage, and he's holding the rat folk. Just the sweetest. Like she is the heart. Cute. Picklefish is the heart of our party, and she drew on a little napkin bastion. She made like a makeshift sign, and she's holding it up. And we're rooting them on, and Bastion has a crush on our cleric, who is also up there with us, and she's cheering him on too. And so the battle is going, and he throws a charm at us because clearly we're his friends.
Mm-hmm.
Picklefish makes it, I fail, and the cleric fails. And so one of the things that happens is like, I'm so enamored with his performance that I put Picklefish down.
Small.
And he sees that, and that's when I see Colin's heart break. And my heart breaks because I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. But it makes sense. And so like we're all like, as soon as this goes down, we're all at an emotional point right now. Like it's real.
Who wants a helping of abandonment with your TRPG? Is like, oh no.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, good.
So one of the things that Colin or Bastion does to kind of turn the tides is that he secretly wrote a song for our cleric. And he plays it, and he rolls really low. And the opposing bard rolls very high and casts a spell that basically makes it seem like that was his song. And so we watch as this guy takes Bastion's song that he wrote for Phoebe, our cleric,
and Mozart's it.
And plays it. And like,
oh no!
At that point, we're almost in fucking tears. Like he took his song. And the thing is, Phoebe doesn't know that Bastion has a crush on her, but Lorenzo does. But he's still charmed, so he doesn't care.
No.
And then an hour passes, and after that hour, the charm breaks, and Lorenzo's like, fuck. No. Bastion has run off with Picklefish, and Picklefish is trying to, coax him through this. And Lorenzo is stuck with Phoebe, and they're both feeling like garbage. And Lorenzo can't really explain to Phoebe why it's so much worse than she knows. And so, like, that's where our session left off. And I'm not gonna say that it's therapeutic, but it got us all on the same emotional wavelength, which I feel like is its own kind of magic. And yeah, it just.
I mean, part of it too, like the part of the therapy stuff is it doesn't have to necessarily. Yeah, it's cathartic. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be therapeutic, right? Catharsis in and of itself is a good goal, and more importantly, right? Like there is a camaraderie that comes from like this. Its technical term is trauma bonding. But like there is a trust that comes out of letting people being able to handle the stories you're telling and sitting at a table together and really like understanding that everyone is there and has your back while you're playing out this horrible, awful thing that is happening, and no one's like gonna laugh at you about it. No one's gonna treat it as a joke, but it will be like it'll be real for all intents and purposes.
Oh, Lorenzo's line at the end.
Oh, so Lorenzo had a line when he was talking to Phoebe. Lorenzo had to dance around the fact that like Bastion is not only fucked up because he lost and because we were cheering for him, but because he was writing a song for Phoebe.
Yeah.
And now, like, Colin played this beautifully where he was talking with Picklefish, where he was just like, the first time she has ever heard the song that I wrote for her, she wasn't even paying attention to me, and she heard it from him. And I'm just like, God,
just died inside slowly. Yeah. Yep.
And so Lorenzo's trying to explain why it's worse than she knows. And Lorenzo, the only thing he can say is, I'm not the man that cheered for his friend's rival instead of him, but I'm the man that has to deal with the consequences of it. And I feel that line in particular with a lot of the shit that that we all have to go through. Like, we're not responsible for the world being as fucked as it is, but we have
We're the ones who gotta fix it.
Deal with the consequences of it. And so like there's a helplessness that I kind of connect with Lorenzo in that moment. So,
boom, therapeutic. You nailed it.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Set path towards tragedy. Like, it can still change, but it depends on the party interactions. We've got one like that in our group. We've got a bard that's the betrayer of the group. And his entire thing is he needs to find some sort of path to redemption and to solace and to that sort of thing. And like earning a happy ending. But currently he's a doppelganger and has been taken by the city guard. Anyways.
Awkward.
But yeah, earning your happy ending is a good thing. Don't you hate
and it depends, right? Like, I personally gear towards like crash and burn, like that. I love playing crash and burn. But you've got to really make sure that everyone's on board for that, because if people want to just play a game where everything is happy and fun, don't like insert your tragic death backstory into that game. Like, that's unfair to the people that you're playing with. But if everyone there is like suffering, you're like, good, yes, this is great.
I found my people.
like one of the things I want to do is like take the concept of that diet from Power Button, and I want to make a Star Wars version where you play like Master and Apprentice, and depending on what happens, you can play through a fall to the dark side in either way, which I think would be really fun.
Thanks, Dahlia. It's good to have you here. And I think on that note, we're just about ready to wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by and visiting and letting us talk about trash anime and
tragedy.
We went
tragedy and trash. It's our new
tragedy.
Trash.
I knew you were gonna do it. You couldn't help yourself.
Can't. Padman watching the Master fall to darkness. Ooh.
Yeah. Either one would be great. Like, either direction, right? Like, both of those would be fantastic. That's a game I really enjoy. I want to play.
Yeah.
That's my 2-player RPG. You each get it's a secrets card, and one of you is gonna have falls to dark, and the other one is not, and it's gonna change every time you play the game. That's my like back burner like 2-player RPG idea.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for stopping by. Why don't we go through, tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing, where you are, and then we will start signing off.
Okay.
I'll start with John, the guest first.
Well, hello. I'm John. I'm on Twitter at Ryomasa. It's not the thing. My Twitch is in there. I don't actually stream on there very often. But I do stream. Actually, there's going to be a stream. I'm on a stream in about an hour and a half on a channel called Thick Notes. It's me and my friend Josh writing fantasy sea shanties and other music that is diegetic music for your campaign, and how to do diegetic songs. If you don't know what diegetic music is, it is music that is alive within a fictional world. So anytime you hear songs about like fantasy rewrites of things like in the Assassin's Creed games with sea shanties and that in the boats, those are diegetic music because it's in the world of the game. So we're streaming that in about an hour and a half on Thick Notes. That's, I think, the only stream I do right now, though I am now starting of thinking streaming Final Fantasy 14 on my personal channel.
Do it.
I've been playing that for a bit. And I'm going to say something to make Nora's heart hurt. One of the main goddesses in the Final Fantasy 14 lore is called Heidelin. And my current character is dressed like a cowboy. I've shown Nora. Nora knows what it looks like. So the best part is, though, I've been playing a machinist, which is like the gunslinger character. The machinist shares armor with the dancer class. So I'm going to make my stream. It's going to be called the Heidelin Hoedown Hour.
Nice.
Where it's just me in a cowboy outfit as the dancer class doing raids. That's what I'm going to do.
Here for it.
I think that's my new stream plan. But
I like it.
Once I have shamed Nora off the face of the planet, we can continue on with the rest of the ghosts. But other than that, yeah. If you are the kind of person who reads academia for fun, my thesis is on my Twitter. It's linked in the pinned tweet. If you want to read about therapeutic RPGs, there's a lot of people doing a lot of really great work in that space right about now too.
Yeah. Noir, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Noir. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch as the Noir Enigma. In particular, keep an eye on my Twitch as I am attempting to stream more. You can also find me, as we've discussed, on Mondays on Cobalt Press with Lessons in Deep Magic. If you're curious to see how the conundrum between Lorenzo, Phoebe, Picklefish, and Bastion plays out, you'll definitely want to tune into the next episode. There will be more crying involved, I assure you. Also on Wednesdays, you can catch me on Last HP Hero and our Curse of Strahd game, in case you're curious to see if I get my son back, because I am also curious to see if I get my son back. Yeah, those are the two main places you can find me. Of course, every Saturday here on Critical Misses.
Friday.
Friday?
Don't forget
and Friday. Yeah, I was going to say, and Friday, where you can find me here on System Shock, where we shock you with our systems. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. And don't forget, on Sundays, Second City Saviors is going to be a thing
starting on the 27th.
Well. So be on the lookout for that. And that is me in a nutshell.
And I don't get to me. Hi, everybody. I'm Anita, or Panita, or Critical Misses. This is my channel. This is what I do.
Weeb! Sorry, continue.
I am a weeb. But W-I-E-B-E. So we do System Shock on Thursdays, where we go through a TTRPG with no prep and no clue how to play it. We start from the beginning, character creation through to a one-shot. On Saturdays, we're here for Morning Ritual, and then every other Sunday, starting on the 13th, we will be running different games. The 13th, we have Worldwide Wrestling with no dice qualifications.
Oh.
So PBTA wrestling game that my brother Tyson is running. Gonna be a blast. After that, we've got Now Leaving St. Lemmings, which is going to be a Kids on Bikes campaign run by Jamie the Jedi, who is in chat as a moderator and is also in the next room because he's my spouse modding chat. And then after that, we're going to have Second City Saviors on the 27th, run by Noir Enigma. And more stuff in the future. Check us out. Critical Misses on Twitter or at Panita. Usually I retweet everything from there. Yeah, I
just realized the closest we've ever come to being in like a game together was having back-to-back charity games. That's the closest. That's true.
Yep.
We should fix
this. It's not like I have an entire channel that's devoted to games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. Thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by and hanging out and chilling with us. And until, I suppose, next time, the ritual has concluded. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.